What is going on, everybody? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. I am doing okay. I have two dogs with me tonight. So I have Remy and Lola. They're both here. Hopefully they behave. Something tells me they're not going to be able to continue in their nice little peaceful truce that they have for too much longer. So if you hear some dogs barking, just let it's okay. It's okay. But with that said, I am super excited to as I always am, to just introduce everybody to like another person in the gaming community, another adult gamer. They're going to tell you a little bit about their story, just but right off the bat, and I'll probably say this a couple of times as people come in and out. But yeah, I this is like one of the main content creators for the game I've been playing, X Defiant. And so we're going to be talking about their gaming journey. We're going to be talking about X Defiant. We're also going to be talking a little bit about their hobbies, some controversies, getting their point of view on things. So it should be a amazing time, as it always is. As chat, you'll always make it. But first, let me say what's up to everybody in chat. We got Ranger. What's going on? You're not here, but you're here. I see. Jeff, Janak, what's going on? Jeff, you're in the right stream. Yes, you are. Ambi, got a kudos shout out to Ambi. Ambi's kind of one behind the scenes doing so much stuff. We got Obi Rose Kenobi. Obi, thank you so much. I know you're doing so much on your end, and just thank you for the brief time you can give us. I do want to start doing some fight games with you though, some fight night stuff. And Wit, what's going on? Simpleton, Easy Red. Oh, got Easy Red in the house. Oh, members. Hey, Ambi, how are you? Thank you for that. There are memberships. After it was a combined total of because if y'all did not know, YouTube, I just got memberships on YouTube, and I couldn't figure out why I didn't get it. And then they told me in so many words, Purple, you have over 480 copyright strikes. So for about 3 weeks, I was clearing those out. I will be really proud to say that 400 and roughly 60 to 70 of them, I was in the right, but there was 10 that I was like, I don't. They were going hard. So we took out some content. I'll just say it like that. Oh, what's going on? Oh my goodness, Easy Red, you did not have to. Oh, whoa, Easy Red, 10, Big 10, Big 10. Wow, thank you. And it's a lot of people in the chat, a lot of Shades of Purple people. Thank you all so much. But with that, y'all know this isn't about me. It's about the person in the chat, in the description there. And so please ask your question. We got a time for y'all to ask whatever you want to ask, but we're going to learn a little bit about the person they call Nytefalll. Nytefalll, what's going on?
Oh, just living the dream over here.
Living the dream. Y'all, this is the Nytefalll, one of the biggest X Defiant content creators there is. Nytefalll, I put you up there with Blame Truth. You know that?
That's just surreal. Like, just playing the game, like, people type in the chat, like, hey, like, I'm a big fan, I watch your videos. Like, it still doesn't resonate with me, like, people actually know who I am. So
Oh my, they do. So if y'all don't know, Blame Truth is a pretty big content creator in, I guess, originally the Call of Duty scene. Well over 500,000 subscribers, and they quoted Nytefalll, like, actually as a source of truth. So I thought that was pretty cool. Um, but Nightfall, there's a question we ask everybody, and I've actually a few people have reached out to me before this stream, and I have to ask this question. Where does Nightfall come from?
Like the name itself.
The name.
Um, so originally it was spelled like the normal way that you would think, like night, like Nightfa, two L's, not three. Um, and it came from part of Halo lore. They have an Operation Nightfall. That was, I think it's somewhere falls in between like Halo 2 and 3. Um, and that's just what I made my gamer tag at the time because Halo was like the first FPS game that I got into. And my original gamer tag was Nightfall 1293 because 12 is my favorite number, 93 is just my birth year. And then time I kept seeing like all these people out numbers and I'm like, wow, it looks so cool to just have a gamer tag that's clean and no numbers at the end. So I had to like finagle with it and change up spelling to get it to work. And now it's Nightfall. I wanted it with two L's, but somebody had that. I actually messaged that person on Xbox and was like, hey, what's it going to take to get you to change your gamer tag so I can have that? They never answered. So
They Oh my goodness. Are they still there? Are they still active? Do you ever, like, look up their trophies to see if they even play?
I don't think they do. I think that's why they never answered.
I would write Microsoft, be like, "Can I have this?" But that's the I think we know you by Nightfall. We know you
Yeah,
Nytefall, triple L, triple hockey
right.
sticks.
Yeah, it's too late to change it now.
No, you're stuck with it. You're Nightfall. How would y'all how chat? Do y'all think it's pronounced differently with three L's versus two L's? I've always wondered this. Like two L's versus three L's. Is there a difference? Like yalla la la. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, social pit, what's going on? We're just learning about triple hockey sticks here. Digging deep into Nightfall's past, and he kind of told us a little bit about there, right? He told us um his gaming journey starts in the mid 90s, right? You're born in 93, so that means you're early. What's your earliest gaming memory? Is it Xbox?
No, it's actually Nintendo 64.
What? So you were on 64.
Yeah, I was actually playing the first game that I can remember myself playing the other day on stream. Ocarina of
Ocarina of
Time.
Time?
Yep.
I was in that
I
stream.
I do not remember playing any other video game before that.
So it was crazy. So you were playing Ocarina of Time, and y'all go down there if you haven't. Nightfall, amazing content creator streams basically every day, has a lot of great content. And for anybody in the Stadia community, the X Defined community is very similar. A lot of is shutting down conversations. Fortunately, it has not like Stadia, but it's a very cool community. But yeah, no, one thing I saw you when you were doing your Ocarina of Time, what like blew me away. So I did everything you could do in Ocarina of Time. Like I got 100 gold skull tulas. I did basically everything. Was how you remembered some of the dungeons in the game. Like I could not remember that. Like, I kinda remember, like, you can go through the Lost Woods, and, like, if you take a wrong turn, you're gonna start in the beginning or the Lost Forest, but
Yeah.
you, like, were just, like, rolling with it. Like, it was like you had not missed a beat.
Yeah, I play it like once a year, sometimes
Okay.
twice a year from start to finish. So that's how I kind of remember that. There are still certain temples that trip me up, like the water temple. I'm sure everybody knows about the water temple.
Water Temple, the Wind Temple. Are they the same? I haven't played it in so long, but there is it's not the same temple, is it?
No,
No, right. The Wind Temple is over there in, Gerudo Valley, if I'm not mistaken. It's been so long.
that's the spirit temple. I think the wind temple is actually in a different game. I think it's in Majora's Mask.
No, there's one where
Mm.
they have, like, the boots that, like, hover.
Oh, the hover boots. Yeah,
The
that's
hover boots, and then
the
there's,
shadow
like, a
temple.
fan. The Shadow
Yeah.
Temple.
Yep,
That's
yep,
the
yep.
one, the Shadow Temple. It's been a long time, y'all. It's been so long since I've talked, like, Ocarina of Time, but I saw you playing it, and, one of the cool things I saw you recently do was you were playing X Defiant with a N64 controller.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's
like
it, I guess the playing with the different stuff kind of started when I had the charity stream about a month ago now. Um, and I tried playing X Defiant with a steering wheel and pedals. And I was just it got me to thinking like, what else could I try to play this with? There's been a lot of requests to play it on a Guitar Hero controller, but they're so expensive like on Amazon. They're like 500 plus dollars.
what?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know if they think it's like some kind of like gaming artifact or piece of history or what.
What? But you were doing well. You were doing well. I will say, I am not afraid to say this, but I am a casual X Defiant. We're going to talk about X Defiant here in a second, but I am about as casual as you can get. Uh-oh. I told you, there goes Remy. Um, I'm about as casual as you can get in the game, and I think you did better in your gameplays without the right controller than I did in my best game. I think that's a true statement. So, congrats.
Oh, it took a couple games to get used to it for sure.
Cool. No. So what type of game, like, tell us. So you played N64, Ocarina of Time. How do you go from Ocarina of Time to, like, what was your journey? Like, obviously that's a kind of a hard game to start off with. I feel like at the time, like it was like three puzzles, it's the first thing, but like how did you go from being there to, obviously Halo had an impact on you, right? So like
Yeah.
where were you, like a golden eye player, or like did you not do first person shooters at this time? Like what's going on?
I, to my knowledge, I never played any kind of like FPS games on N64. Like, obviously, now I've gone back as an adult and replayed some of the games that other people have played. But it went almost pretty much from like N64 playing Zelda. And that's what I'm saying. I got stuck on part of the game, and my sister's friend had to come over and help me. And he started telling me about Mortal Kombat. So then I started getting into Mortal Kombat, and that kind of introduced me, I guess, into the more aggressive style games. And then Halo Combat Evolved came out, and I was like, what is this? And everybody was playing it. It was like my friends got it, and they all had an Xbox and everything. And I never had an Xbox. So I was always over my friend's house playing it, and that was like the only game that he had. And it was just the most fun that I've had just playing the co-op campaign. Um, and then from there, that's when Halo 2 launched. And we had a PC, and this is like, I was still young at the time. I didn't know about like PC specs and requirements and stuff. So we just went to, I think it was called EB Games, which I'm assuming is still part of GameStop, or I don't know how they do
EV
all that.
games, we've heard of the EV games. Yes.
Yeah. Um, and we bought Halo 2 there, and we took it back home, and that's when I found out that the computer couldn't run it. So that Christmas, my mom got me an Xbox and Halo 2.
Oh, look at that. Mama Nytefalll coming through.
Yeah.
And don't worry about not knowing about PC specs when back then. There's a lot of PC gamers today that don't really know about PC specs, but they talk a big game because they know a GPU number. So don't worry, don't worry. They're out
Yeah.
there.
I know
Uh,
enough now.
Power on.
Right.
No, so that's super cool. So you started playing X. So you not play the first Halo?
I did, but I wasn't like super into it. Like I said, I only got a chance to play it at my friend's house. So it was like after school for an hour or two or on the weekends. Um, Halo 2 was just nonstop because that's when they first really started introducing online PvP. We had I don't even know what you call it. It's not like a LAN party. It was just like it was a place that you could go to called the Gamers Planet, and they had like 30 PCs, 4 Xboxes, and 4 PlayStations, and you could pay like I think it was like $5 an hour to just go in and play whatever you wanted. And I would spend hours there on the weekend. They even had like lock-ins where you would go in at like 8 p.m. at night and they would close, and you would stay overnight and play.
I wonder if lock-ins would work now. And I want to say thank you to Ambi and Cowboy and your mama knows. Thank you so much for the donation. Thank you. Y'all know it all goes right back to the channel and our giveaways and so forth. So thank you all so much for that. Definitely did not need to do that, but I appreciate it. I'm not going to tell you not to do it. So thank you for that. And I want to say, give a shout out to people coming straight in. I see Chariot Man, Extra Life Reviews. Mel, we have a workaround to get you your $25 gift certificate in Canada. We do have it. So don't worry, that's coming to you shortly. It actually took a lot to do it, but happy belated birthday to Mel. Celebrate 25 years last Friday. And Crow, I see you. Bulls for life. There you are. Reaver the Beaver, Holtz, Fury Becker, Jack Left Town 427. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And the social pit. Welcome, 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 everybody. Um, and so we're just talking to Nightfall here, as y'all know. One of the biggest X Defiant streamers there is. One of the best players in our community. You know, doing amazing stuff, learning about his journey, learning about how, he started on 64, but he's quickly changed to doing a little fighting game. So it seems you jump there. And if you didn't know, Nightfall, Obi Rose Kenobi in chat is like our resident like fighting game expert. Cowboy and your mama knows would say he like Cowboy is, but it's really Obi Rose. We already know that. And he wanted to know if you still play like Tekken or anything like that.
Tekken? No, I honestly never really played Tekken. And I don't play anymore. The last time I really like played Mortal Kombat was back on GameCube. I did try to get into. I was into Super Smash Bros. Like everybody was. But recently there's a game called Multiverses that I
Yes,
started to get into. Yeah,
the Warner
that was a
Brothers
lot of
one.
fun. Yeah.
So you got
I,
into that.
yeah, I was a Shaggy main because I loved Scooby Doo growing up. So yeah,
A shaggy mane. I I
yeah.
I don't think I've ever said that ever. A shaggy mane. I don't think that
I
ever
mean,
like I I didn't even know people played it like that. But I guess they do.
I guess I stopped playing it after a couple weeks because I couldn't get my friends into it, and so I just kind of put it down.
Uh, and I'm gonna start a civil war in chat. No, Cowboy can beat Cowboy destroyed me in Mortal Kombat. Y'all, if y'all do not remember the Stadia day, uh, it's not fair because I don't know how to block in fighting games. I just button mash, and Cowboy actually knows how to play the game, so he took me out pretty easily. Uh, but yeah, I'll say Obi and Tekken and Cowboy and Mortal Kombat. What is that better? Is that better? Shaggy, right, Obi. He said Shaggy Mane. He literally said Shaggy Mane. Um, it makes me think of the artist Shaggy. Uh, but okay, so you did that. So you're not. But so how would you describe yourself as a gamer? Are you a shooter?
Um, Predominantly now, yeah, I would say because realistically, the only games I play now, like that I constantly play, are X Defiant, obviously. I go back to Rainbow Six Siege every now and again, and then also I play Apex here and there when my friends hit me up and they're like, "Hey, you want to play Apex?" And then we go and play Apex, and then I remember why I stopped playing it.
Why did
Yeah,
you so talk to us a little bit about it? Because you just described like I would say like three totally different games, right?
yeah.
Apex, Rainbow Six Siege, X Defiant. And for people who don't know, like I talk about X Defiant a lot on my channel. And obviously your channel knows what X Defiant is, but how would you describe those three games? Like to just a normal person? Because we got Robolica's here. She's a Sims player. We got a couple of others. Like, how would you describe them? Like, what makes one?
If you had to lump them all into the same category, I mean, technically they are all first-person shooters, but like you said, they beyond that they differ very much. Like they're not the same game at all. Um, and I feel like having those three kind of just fills the need for like it. It scratches the itch for different types of games. So like X Defiant, I could just load in and just play solo and do whatever I want to do. And then Rainbow Six Siege is more of a team based game where It relies on having people communicate, which a lot of people don't seem to do in gaming these days, unless you're in like a group, like a party or something like that. So that's why I usually only play that with my friends. And then Apex was just like a smaller thing that we got into as uh, Siege. Other people in our friend group started falling off. So like we had a 5-man, and we'd always have somebody like a 6 person saying like, "Hey, whenever so and so gets done, I'll hop in and take their spot." So like we had a rotation of people, but then people started growing up. People had other obligations. And slowly 6 dwindled down to 4, and then 3, and so Apex was just a better fit.
Oh, Nightfall, you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry there. Sorry. I tried to get some music on, but it didn't quite work. So, all right. So, no, I didn't catch the very end there. So you said Siege is you said what?
Oh, Siege was like if we had like 5 or 6 people, and then we would have somebody try to like take someone's spot if they were getting off for the night, and then slowly people started growing up and had other things to do, other obligations, work, family, stuff. So that 6 slowly dwindled down to 2 or 3 people on at the same time. So Apex has just become the game because you only need 3 people, and then they introduced a duos mode a while back. So it was
Yeah.
always just convenient.
No, and I want to go to chat really quick because I just saw something. Ranger. Am I missing something here, Ranger? Wait, y'all, I might be mistaken. Is Gears of War a first person shooter? It's
No,
third person. It's third person.
yeah.
Ranger, what are you talking about?
Last I checked, it was
What
it was
are
third
you
person.
talking about? Like I just saw that on the corner of my eyes. I was like, am I crazy?
I actually have beef with Gears of War.
I don't like Gears of War either. Why don't you like Gears of War?
So I don't like it for partially the
We're
same
just
reason I don't
destroying
like.
Ranger now. We're just destroying. We're going in. Why don't you
Yeah,
like Gears?
half the reason that I don't like COD is the same main reason why I don't like Gears of War is because those games started getting big at like Halo's peak. So it just kind of killed Halo, and everybody started going off to other games, and that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So ever since then, I've just been like, you know what, screw them.
So you blame other games' success for Halo's decline?
Partially, I also blame
Bitter.
Bungie for leaving us and 343's
So
mishandling of the situation.
oh my good. So that's a question I've always wondered about Halo main type of people. Why did you not just follow Bungie to Destiny?
I did for a little bit. I tried, and it just wasn't my type of game. That's more of like a looter shooter. A modern game I would compare that to is like the first Descendant, kind of. And it's repetitive. I
The
can't.
first Descendant, the one that came out this summer.
Yeah, back in July.
Yeah, yep, I know exactly what it is. Uh no, so I'll tell you, I left gaming for a while. So I think a few people know, like I probably from when Xbox first launched until oh man, until Zelda Breath of the Wild, I didn't really game. I played the Ghostbusters game and like Assassin's Creed like intermittently in between that time frame, but I didn't game. So I came back, and one of the games I loved, I don't care about Metacritic scores, y'all. I don't. But one of the games I really, really liked was a game called Outriders that everybody just hated, but I liked it. And so I played Outriders, and everybody was like, "Hey, you need to go play like Gears of War." So I played Gears 5, and I was like, "What the heck is like how?" So, it's not that I hate Gears, it's just that I feel like it was a letdown. And
Huge letdown.
once you let me down, I'm not gonna pick you back up.
Yeah, there was a break I took from gaming as well after Halo 4. I still remember I was working at Walmart at the time, and we had a GameStop right next door. And I went to the midnight release. It was probably the last like physical release of a game that I attended. I picked up my copy of Halo 4, drove home like we did in those days, installed the game from the CD, and played it. And it was just not Halo, like not like I remembered it. And it turned me off for a while. And so I stopped gaming. I gave Halo 5 a chance as I felt obligated to do. But 20, what was it, 2018, 2019 is when I got into Rainbow Six Siege. And that's kind of what pulled me back into gaming from there.
Siege. No, I got into Siege. So Siege, another game that I just played and did bad. Like, so for y'all who played Siege in Nightfall, you'll know who this person. Like, I was the person who would be like, let me map out, like, let me be on the camera. So I always, like, I think Twitch was her name. I want to say her name's Twitch. She had like two cameras. She had like two drones and stuff. I was never like a good gunfighter in Siege, but I would like, I would get on my little camera and go find people, and then I get shot. That
Right.
that that was my contribution to the team. But I would mark where the enemies were.
As long as you're not red pinging them.
Right, because then they can tell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way. So I'm like,
Yeah.
as is the case with most of my gameplay, um, I get like a 9 to an 11-year-old, and I know it's that age because 12 years old, like, guys start their voices start to, like, crack a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's always someone, a boy who, voice hasn't cracked, so it sounds like actually like a teenage girl, but, you know, it's a boy, and then I get cussed out, and I'm like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
that's what I was supposed to do." So that, lessons learned from, pre-puberty 5th graders, I guess. And that's
Siege
my
is
that's my
one of the
thing.
most toxic games I've ever played in my life. Like
R
ever.
Siege?
Yeah, like people always say like, "Oh, you wouldn't last in a Call of Duty Modern Warfare lobby or whatever." Like, no, play Siege in its prime. Those are some toxic people. Like
I think
I swear they think they're getting paid to play or something.
I mean, they are. They're all thinking that they're going to, you know, make it. The thing I think is funny is like the big time professional gamers make a lot of money, but your average professional gamer isn't like a millionaire, you know?
No.
So it's like go do it. Like go do it, and then you'll see why you'll need another job as well.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Halo. I wanted to ask you, you just brought this up earlier today. Um Halo, you know, a lot of news about this going to PlayStation 5. Thoughts?
I think that Microsoft has kind of confined itself to just giving up on console gaming. I think they're more focused on cloud gaming, and they're kind of just shifting to the more people that have access to their game equals better. And from a business standpoint, that makes sense. From a gamer standpoint, somebody who grew up with Xbox and hates anything Sony and PlayStation, I think giving them access to Halo is just the nail in the coffin. Like
Guys,
that,
guys,
that's it.
I
You
just want
give
you to
up
know.
Halo, gone. Oh,
Just had I do it that was not there was a tongue that came into the screen. I just wanted y'all to know that was Lola. Okay. Like I didn't want
just to
y'all just to
clarify.
see a tongue coming in. It's not that type of stream. At least
Yeah.
not yet. And so but that was Lola doing that. So sorry. So you despise PlayStation. Why do you that's so why? Why? You started Nintendo. How can you despise PlayStation?
I think it's just because it's just being bitter. Like they seem to get all the cool exclusives, like especially as of recently. God of War, just to name a few, like, and all Xbox ever really had was Halo. Like nothing else was ever really good. That was an exclusive to Xbox. And even now, it's not even really exclusive to Xbox anymore because just about anything you get on Xbox, you can get on PC because Microsoft.
Well, you
So
can get it on the Fire Stick too, supposedly.
yeah, I got I swear
This
it was
I
just
could
the other day. I got a thing that popped up. I went to go watch Criminal Minds, and it was like play X Defiant on your Fire TV. And I was like, what the hell? Like, why would I ever? And then I was like, no, no, I just played with a GameCube controller and a Nintendo 64 controller. I'm not the one to, to just be out here saying, like, why the hell would I play it on a Fire TV?
so it seems like we have some very strong opinions about PlayStation chat. We got Jack left town. For your information, PlayStation sucks. That is I believe he pulled that from the Wikipedia page. I'm not quite too sure. Um, and we also have Social Pit, obviously Gears of War. Are not Social Pit, it is third person, but Ranger is a very big Gears of War person. So he took a probably offense to you saying that all you had was Halo on Xbox. Um, and I'm seeing a trend here. Nightfall. I'm not gonna lie. Seeing a trend. If someone else is doing well, you get upset. Like,
Not necessarily.
it's like Gears, you don't like it, it's getting popular, it's affecting you in Halo. PlayStation's getting all the games, it's impacting you in Xbox.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a little bit of like something's going on here.
So those are the clickbait reasons. So like the real reason I don't like Gears of War, I'm just not a third person shooter person.
Oh, the
Um,
truth comes out.
yeah, I'll fess up. It's just I don't know. My friends tried to get me into Fortnite back when it was like blowing up, and I mean the building. Don't even get me started on the building. Like I shoot some 8-year old, and he builds a whole damn castle, and it's just what am I supposed to do with that? But at the same time, it's third person, and just that whole I don't know. It's a third person is a view for a story driven game, not a competitive first or shooter game. I almost said first person, not a competitive shooter game.
That's fair.
So
That's fair. So third person. So and that's what you like the competition. You don't like the story. That
right,
makes sense. But you liked Halo, which makes sense because it's a third person. Wait a second.
first
Are we-
person. Halo 3 dabbled in third person.
but you said you liked Halo,
I
and
do
you
like
like
Halo.
so you like
Halo
the
1,
stories in the Halo.
yeah, Halo 1, Halo 2 was first person. Halo 3 had a couple missions that were third person. Halo 4 went back to first person. Halo 5, I think, was all first person. I think they learned their lesson after Halo 3. Like, third person is not Halo.
So all right. So I'm just trying to understand. And I see Fast is in the chat. You know, Fast is our I do Fall Guys tournaments, like probably once every other month, and so Fast is our Fall Guys tournament. It's speaking of the 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 younger crowd that destroys us in gaming. Fast is like 12 or 13. I don't know how old he is, but he destroys us every single time. So yeah, so Gears of War for wait, I say Gears of War for first person shooters because of the difficulty. What? Wait. The difficulty. I need to unpack this one, Ranger. You're saying you like Gears of War because of the difficult. It's auto. It auto locks on the enemy. Am I
Yeah,
am I am I missing it?
at least in
Ranger, are we
the
playing the same game? Are we doing the same thing? This happens a lot. I feel like this when I play X Defiant and there's someone who I'm pretty sure has wall hacks. We're not playing the same game. We're not playing the same game. You know what I mean? Like there's people who I'm like, you did a video on we'll talk X Defiant here in a sec. We'll get to it in a second. You know.
plenty of X Defiant to get to.
We got lots of X Defiant to get to. So if y'all did not know, Nightfall, you're actually known as the boogeyman of X Defiant. Is this true or false?
That's what they called me in the group chat.
You're the boogeyman of X Defiant. And I want to get to some of the controversies that you've been involved in X. So now, so y'all, in prison terminology, we buttered him up, but now we're going in. Okay, so that's what we're doing right now. I would use some other very visual language, but it actually is very disturbing in my head, so I'm not going to say it. But so with that, I want to bring something up really quick. I want to bring something up. I think, do we have it? Do we have it? I don't think I have it. Wait, is this it? Is this it? Let me see. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Nightfall, can you see the screen?
I sure can.
Okay,
I
so
sure can.
talk to us about what is going on here. Who is Kanuru? How did you get onto this person? What is your beef with him? And did he bring it? Or did you bring
So
it? What is going on? Talk to us.
thing,
Talk to us about
things were brought.
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. Things were
Kanuru
brought.
or Ainuru, or as my community has defaulted to calling him, Crynuru, um, is he's an X Defiant, or was, and I don't know if he still plays or not. Played X Defiant. He was a streamer on Twitch. Um, and basically he just was doing, in my opinion, throw that out there, in my opinion, he was doing scummy things. He was charging people to play on their accounts and rank them up. He's been suspected of cheating in X Defiant. He's been proven to be cheating in other games.
So define
So,
cheating. Define cheating. Because I think
like,
there's some
yeah, so like aimbot wall hacks type cheating. I feel like there's different levels, and that's like top tier cheating. Um, so yeah, he was accused of using wall hacks and aimbot and all kinds of stuff in X Defiant, and the whole beef between me and him started because I called out a bunch of people who were smurfing in X Defiant. For those that don't know what smurfing is, it's just making a new account to play a game in which you just play against lower ranked players. It's just a stupid thing to do. It ruins players' experiences, and it's just my take on it. And it's also against Ubisoft's terms of service. So I started calling out players for it. He was among the top players that didn't like it because he was doing it. So he took it upon himself to just start trolling me and, saying all kinds of things. Um, so I started devoting a little bit more attention and making videos dedicated to going after him. And it kind of escalated to a point where he felt that I was stealing his his stream and stuff, when in actuality all I did was screenshot something that he posted on Twitter from his stream and used it in a video, which is fair use when it comes to copyright. Assuming that I actually just talk over it and stuff. But so that got put into a few videos, and I guess people started seeing that video and started seeing, I don't want to say the proof, because I never actually had proof that he was cheating in X Defiant. I had proof that he was playing on people's accounts and leveling them up and charging them money, which is scummy. But I never actually had the smoking gun, if you will, for him cheating in this game. But I laid it all out there. I was like, this is why I suspect him of cheating. He's cheated in other games. He has an alternate account that he was like level 60 and made it to the highest rank in the game, which, for those that don't know, you have to be level 40 to play ranked, which means he made it to level 40 and then only played like 20, 27 or 28. I forget how many games, but that's besides the point. um, I put all my suspicions out in the video, and I guess some people ran with it and started going into his stream and saying like, you're a cheater and all this stuff. And that's when it branches off into some other drama with the Smurfs and what X Defiant did. So I won't dive into that in case that's a follow up. But yeah, so he issued copyright strikes on my channel. He was gonna do 2 as like a threat because YouTube's like you get 3 copyright strikes and we delete your channel. But he didn't know that I already had one from Ubisoft for showing a leaked image or a video of their map. So I technically had 3. So his goal was to copyright strike me twice, threaten me, and tell me, take the videos down, or I'm going to give you a 3rd copyright strike. So I basically told him, this is what I'm going to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to appeal these copyright strikes and any more that you do because they're false claims. And if I have to, I will get a lawyer and we'll just do this in court. Now, I don't know how court works since he's in Germany, but
Y'all
it's,
are about to go to the international court and lay
yeah,
down on X Defiant YouTube copy strikes. That's what
yeah.
I saw.
So basically, I was just calling his bluff because I don't think he was going to do anything. So I appealed the strikes. YouTube was like, okay, we forward it to what's his name, and he's got 10 business days to prove that he's taking legal action, or they fall off. And actually, the last one actually fell off a couple of hours ago.
So congrats on no more copy strikes.
But I still technically have the one from Ubisoft that falls off in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Don't worry, Ubisoft's gonna go bankrupt. We're good.
Yeah.
Joking. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of this X Defiant stream. It's like you won the battle, but we lost the war. I don't know.
Yeah.
So all right. So if y'all didn't catch that, so Kanuru, this dude, basically. So let's back up. Nytefalll goes after cheaters. So if you're cheating, I see you fast, and we're on to you in Fall Guys. No, I'm just I don't even know how you would cheat in Fall Guys. But so Nytefalll just goes after him, right? This dude Kanuru kind of cheated. No, we don't have like full proof, but we have proof that he cheated in the past, and it looks like he cheated here. Nytefalll just put his information out. Kanuru tried to get Nytefalll banned. Basically the story, right? That's like kind of how it got to it. You and him went back and forth. Fortunately for you, the copyright strikes fell off that came from him.
Yep.
You're still doing okay, right? You're still like fighting the good fight, going after these people, which I think you should. Like, and it's like a tandem, right? It's like you and Matcha Babe.
Yeah, she's less, I'll say, outspoken about it. She lets her opinions be heard, but she doesn't like devote entire YouTube videos to the situation.
Got it.
So,
And if y'all did not know Matcha Babe, she is I guess the number 1 female X Defiant streamer. That's how she always titles her videos. And she's pretty big following. Pretty big following on Twitch. We'll obviously bring her on eventually. Also a veteran. Shout out to the veterans out there. So yeah, so we have that. And I do want to say a happy birthday to Fast if I did not say that. And Fast, I know you're not cheating, Fast, or at least I don't think you are, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's Fall Guys. Like, in my opinion. So that's where y'all are. So has the engagement with Kanuru changed at all how you like approach these types of conversations? Or are you still calling people out when you can call them out?
I don't think it's changed. I mean, if anything, I've just learned how to word copyright appeals or like legal. I don't really think there was anything wrong in the way I went about it. I think some people took it the wrong way and it got some of my words got twisted because he felt like I was accusing him of cheating. And as far back as I remember, and at the time he said that, I went back and watched a couple of videos that he didn't copyright strike at the time. And I can't find anywhere in that video where I'm like, yeah, he's definitely cheating. It's always, I suspect him of cheating. This is why I suspect him of cheating. Twitch even banned him on Twitch for cheating. And that was like a whole video. I was like, how the hell is Twitch going to ban you for cheating before the game you're cheating in bans you for cheating? It's crazy.
As a small lowly person in the Xify content creator community, I was watching it, and I don't like cheaters, right? Um, Especially in like like there's something if it's like a goof, like if it's like just by yourself and you're trying to do something, like fine, you go knock yourself out, right? 30 lives and Mike Tyson punch out, do something like that, fine. But when you are like, it's a competitive thing and you're all like trying to go at it, and and it seems like there's two types of cheating, right? There's the cheating that helps you in the game, right?
Mhm.
So this is like, if y'all did not know, wall hacks means you can see through walls to shoot someone. Aimbots mean unlike uh what Ranger was saying, in third person shooters where it locks on, in first person shooters doesn't really lock on the same. There's like recoil and stuff. So aimbots brings that all down. And then there's the type that Canoe we know for sure was doing, which was help people would pay him to basically get their account higher, like boost their account essentially, right? Boosting the account.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, which I think is also really like, I don't know. I don't know. Bothers me. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? And I see you out there, Social Pit. Social Pit saying, he doesn't believe content creators should go after content creators. But what if it's about the integrity of the game? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's the
Uh,
question I have.
I don't think I went at him as a content creator. I think I went at him as a cheater. Like, he has content, he creates content, and the only reason that he has, uh, I guess, the following that he has is because of what he does.
Right. He
And
boosts the
at the
account.
root of it, yeah, at the root of it, it's wrong, both morally and against their terms of service. So, I mean, yeah, am I the hall monitor that's out here like, oh, I'm telling? Sure. But like, you're like you said, it all comes down to the integrity of the game. And if one, it's like a virus. If one person is cheating and gets just absolutely slapped over and over again by cheaters, they're going to do one of two things. They're either going to quit the game or stop playing it as much, or they're going to cheat. They're going to find ways to cheat and even the playing field. Plain and simple. And it just sucks.
You thought he was Jack left town. I said he thought he was just really interesting. So Nightfall, I want to, so on this thing of cheating, right? Um, I want you to like, because I see your content. I actually watch it quite a bit. Um, you know a thing or two about cheating because you used to, in so many ways, cheat yourself,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes. And I've never once tried to like deny that or shy away from it because it was something that I did. So, um, and there's a lot of other stuff that I did that legally I can't say. I've been banned from other games, but what I can say is playing a single player game. Um, and I'll just name the game because at this point it doesn't matter. It was Madden. And yes, Madden has online play, but the thing that it was made for was a solo player challenge. So I made a script that you could get on a Cronus Zen. Um, I don't think it's like cross. I don't think you can get it on like a Zim. But you could get it on the Cronus. And what it would do is you would get to a certain point in the game and you would press left on the D pad and it would run a series of button presses and basically just kick a field goal and complete the challenge over and over and over and over. And you would just level up your account and you would get solo player rewards like coins to get other cards and stuff like that. Um, It was never used and could never be used in an actual online competitive game. I mean, I suppose you could use it, but I don't. The timing would be way off. It's not worth it. And I took that script and I sold it to a bunch of people. And I was banned on Madden for doing that. And I learned my lesson. That's when I was like, okay, it's not worth it because, like, sure, I'm making a few bucks here and there, but like $10 here, $10 there, when I could be doing or applying the knowledge that I have of that stuff to a healthier outlet, like what I'm doing now. Um, and I honestly just feel like to call out cheaters, you can't be ignorant to all the different ways that people can cheat. You have to have some kind of a knowledge in that field to be able to understand how they're doing it, why they're doing it, where they're getting it from, all that stuff.
No, I think no, well, thanks for sharing that. Like I know you had talked about it before. Jeff Janek, who was in chat earlier, he used to be a big so we have a couple of people in the Shades of Purple community who are big Madden people. Jeff Janek used to be on the leaderboard. Project Storm, who is still currently on the leaderboard, but I heard they had some issues with their leaderboard recently, so I'm not sure if he's playing it right now. But, no, I agree, coming from the Rainbow Six Siege I played Siege quite a bit in 2021, and, one of the channels I used to watch was Varsity Gaming, I think that's his name.
Oh Lord.
And he has, like, his whole channel is devoted to, well, people sending him videos and then him saying if they're cheating or not, or something like that.
I have my separate thoughts on him, but okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen a few of his videos. Um, and just to put it shortly, um, Siege has a feature in the game where it's like match replay, so you
Right.
can watch the entire game back top down, and you can see the outlines of all the players. And I think him watching it back like that causes him to think a lot more people are cheating than they actually are. Because it really feels like he just thinks everybody is cheating. There's been several times where I watched his video and I'm like, they could be, but like, I don't know that I would indefinitely say like he is like, yeah, for sure they're cheating. Um, Siege is a lot of game sense. And if you scroll far enough back on my channel, I have a lot of shorts with Siege where you could swear I was cheating that were just lucky wall bangs and like for the meme type stuff where I'll just like, oh, I'll turn on my wall hacks, turn to the wall and shoot straight through it and kill somebody. And it's like that's what makes Siege fun though. It's like stupid stuff like that happens. Um, and yeah, sure, you're gonna get messages from people and they're gonna think you're cheating. Does it mean you're cheating? No.
No, I mean, I like Siege. I don't know. I was curious how they were going to do. And for anybody who's just joined, we're talking about X Defiant. I was curious how they were going to do the bomb mode in X Defiant versus Siege. Because they
Yeah.
technically share like some elements,
Hmm.
and I don't know. I don't know if you can do it. Like Siege is a little bit slower. It's a little bit more methodical. And I'm not too sure how that mode's gonna survive on X Defiant. Me personally, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Um, I think comparing it to Siege is a mistake in terms of like bomb to bomb. And I think a lot of people do it just because it's like, oh, well, it's Ubisoft. So it's like they could pull from this and do this. But X Defiance bomb mode is more Counter Strike or Valorant based than it is Siege. Siege is like you're already in the bomb site. Like you don't have to run to it as a defender. You are there. And now your job is to set up the site strategically and defend it. And then the attackers have observation gadgets and stuff like drones and stuff like that that you don't have in X Defiant yet. Um, so I think it's it's very different. The little I don't know what you call it, the in-game model, I guess, for like the bomb chassis. It
Hmm.
looks like it's straight ripped from Siege with different graphics, but other than that, there's really no comparison that I see between the two. And that's why I said earlier that X-Defiant and Siege are just two totally different games.
Yeah, no, they like besides the bomb, I agree. And I want to say welcome, welcome to Elizabeth Harp. Hopefully I can call you Liz. Welcome, welcome to the channel. We're just talking to Nytefalll here, one of the top X Defiant streamers, as well as just getting to know his thoughts on things and on X Defiant and on all things first person shooter. Uh, but we're gonna come back to like X Defiant. We're gonna come back to like your ideas on Call of Duty because we haven't really talked about that, right? I know you're very critical of Call of Duty.
Yep.
Um, but a little birdie, we have a little bit of trivia for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Trivia is fun.
Trivia is fun. We have a couple of questions for you. Because you really know the maps of X Defiant really, really well, right?
Yeah, I
Fairly
would say
well,
I do.
fairly well, fairly well. Okay. Um, question.
Hmm.
How many maps in X Defiant feature either a restaurant, a cafe, or a bar?
Ooh. Well, let's
And anybody
see.
in chat, if you've played X Defiant, please try to answer the question as well. How many maps in X Defiant feature a restaurant, a cafe, or a bar?
Hmm. I know Dumbo has one because
Okay,
I
Dumbo.
run through there all the time.
Okay, so we got one.
Um,
Got one.
um, I don't know if you would consider. I know Clubhouse like the back of my hand because it's a Siege map. I
Yeah,
don't know if
I
you
like
would consider that a bar.
where the dancing pole is.
Not necessarily there, but like in the next room over. It's more of like a
Oh, like where the main domination area is? Like where
yeah.
the
It's like Zone B on Domination. Um,
I reviewed this and we did not say Clubhouse had one.
okay, and let's
But
cross
but
that
but
off
if you do want to use Clubhouse, I'm just curious. All right, go
as an
ahead.
emergency. I will.
Okay.
um, I feel like Arena's got to have one, like a mobile cafe type thing.
Yeah, little stand. Okay. Little hot dog
Um,
stand.
all the new maps like Rockefeller and Waterfront, I don't think have one. Emporium's got to have one. It's a mall, right? It's got to have something.
I love how you're just trying to like, you're just like
I'm
guessing.
just walking through it.
You're like, maybe.
I'm just walking through it. So let me try to count them. So Dumbo.
That's actually a good place to start. Is first you have to know how many maps are in X Defiant, and this is actually why besides the question, there's actually another reason I asked it is because in order to answer the question, you kind of have to know how many maps are in X Defiant.
If there's 19 now, right?
19, correct. So
Yeah.
then, which, if you remember, one of the criticisms of X Defiant was that it had no maps, and 19 is actually a pretty solid number. But you're right, 19. So knowing there's 19, so this is going to you, Jack Left Town, to say 5. Reevaluate. Knowing there's a 19, we're saying restaurant, basically anywhere you could eat or drink in a map, theoretically in the background. How many are there? I know Jack Lovetown. That's why when he said no, nothing in Rockefeller, I was like, I don't know if he's gonna win this one.
um, yeah. Originally, I wouldn't say that there's a whole lot. Like I would think 5 is somewhere in the ballpark, but now that you say that there's 19 and that
19 maps. Yeah.
yeah, explain it like that. I would probably say close to half of them. My finally, I'd have to say like 8. There's probably some that I'm not thinking of.
Would it surprise you if we threw a number out like 14?
What? 14 out of 19?
Think
That
about
would
it.
definitely surprise me.
Think about it. I think you all have it. I think when you think about it, and it is just something that I was going over with someone recently, because it's like, um, oh, this place, or when you're trying to think about the maps and how to name things, like I realized how many places had something like
Yeah.
this. So it's really quite a bit, right? If you the only It's easier to think of the ones that you for sure know don't necessarily have something, right? So examples like
Mm,
Mayday, right? Or
yeah.
Waterfront. Like those
Right.
for sure don't necessarily have something, but virtually every single um escort or zone control map has one. So that's
Interesting.
and you kind of were onto something there with arena, right? You said like a food cart. Like, well, think about it. Like the race park for sure has it. For
Yeah.
zoo,
Daytona,
Daytona for
zoo.
sure, zoo for sure.
I threw
Uh,
the turret. I'm an idiot. I threw the turret on the damn food cart and zoo.
yes, yeah, I know. You're like, so when you
Oh
start
my
putting
god.
it out like that, you start to get it. Yeah. But and that's why I said 13 and 14, because you actually counted one that I didn't necessarily count.
Okay.
Um And so, but yeah, it's next time y'all are going through playing X Defiant, go check out like the sceneries in the background, and it's kind of interesting to see all the different stuff. Uh, so yeah,
A lot of
and
Easter eggs too.
a lot of Easter eggs, and I actually am. Hey, Vet, what's going on? Vet, do you play X Defiant? Vet Cloud Gaming was someone. He's a veteran as well, and he played Siege. That's where I actually met Vet. He played Siege. But also, so that was one question I wanted to ask you. The other question that so yeah, so y'all, it's either 13 or 14, depending on how you count a certain section. Um, but it's a thing to just kind of celebrate that there are 19 maps, which I think is pretty impressive for a free to play shooter game that X Define is. Uh no, not yet, not yet, but the other question I want to ask you was I heard you were a whiskey connoisseur.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
What is your favorite whiskey?
My favorite, well, that would be that I would have to have had it, which there's a lot that I'm sure would take that spot should I ever get the chance to find it and try it. Um, can I break it down into two, as in like my favorite that I've had but don't own a bottle of, and my favorite that I own a bottle of?
Sure. Go for it.
So I'd have to say my favorite that I've tried but don't own a bottle of is Old Forester 1924, the new one that just came out last year.
Okay.
Uh, and my favorite one that I own is probably Booker's.
Bookers.
Yep. I forget which batch it is. Trying to see if I can see it from here, but obviously my eyes are not that good.
So you're a bourbon. You like bourbon.
Yeah, yeah.
Bourbon.
I have a lot. I have Irish whiskey up there. I have Redbreast. Um, I mean, I could start going down my whole shelf. I'm trying to look at the bottles that are like almost empty compared to the ones that I haven't touched. Uh, but yeah, Booker's is probably got to be my favorite that's up there.
My question to you. So I asked the question because few people know this. There's two. Uh, there's one alcohol drink. I don't do beer, but I do whiskey. Do you ever try Crown Royal by chance? Is it a popular brand?
Oh, Crown Royal. I yeah, me and Crown go way
Not
back.
not no, no, don't worries, no worries. I actually don't like regular Crown Royal. There's a Crown Royal that came out in 2007, uh, and, it was called Cask number 16. Have you ever
Mhm.
tried it? Did you ever try it by chance? Maybe not.
No, no.
Anyway, it's actually one of the highest rated whiskeys ever, to come out of, North America. They only made a very small batch of them, and it's actually my favorite whiskey. But if you can, and I just so happen to have one of the Crown likes it. I have one of my things here. Case cast number
Oh
60. If you want to go look it up, and if you can, you can go look it up if you want. I roughly have 25 of these.
my
Give
god.
give or take one because it discontinued. Discontinued.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it is my favorite whiskey. Um, Even though it's not really like I don't know if it's outside of Scotland, I don't really consider it a whiskey in a way, but I get it. I get it. I get it. I don't want to piss off the Kentucky
Oof.
people.
Yeah, I was gonna say the folks down in Kentucky might
You
not
know,
agree with you.
the deliverance type of people, Kentucky and Tennessee and whatever else. What do they call themselves? Ambi, what do you all call yourselves? If you didn't know, Ambi's from one of those backward states like that. I think they're called like hillbillies or something.
Oh my
Mountain people. I don't know. I don't know. Moonshine or whatever the heck they drink over there. ISO, what's going on? We're talking ISO Motion Gaming's also X Defiant. ISO, we're talking to Nytefalll here, who's a X Defiant streamer. And Vet, let me see. Did Vet say he plays X Defiant? Vet prefers the homemade shine. Yep, Vet is also in the backwoods of where are you, Vet? Virginia? Vet's out there in Virginia or North Carolina, I forget. I gotta make it. I gotta. Amelia, how dare Perp make fun of us mountain folk? I knew. I was waiting for you to change your name back to Vet Mountain Gaming. That's just low. Ambi, how's that low? I thought y'all take pride in being called hillbillies. I don't understand this. Like
wild.
you take so much pride in this mountain folk talk and in dating cousins and whatever else y'all do. I don't understand this. Y'all are
I thought that
so
was West Virginia.
it's all the same. It's all the same. Like when you come on. It's like crabs out of a barrel. You know what I mean? Like let's be honest here. Joking. Joke. I'm gonna start some political debate. I'm sure of it. Oh my, that's a true hillbilly. Yeah, well, Vet, you're not true Vet. I don't know. These are all some of the fun people in the community. Um, so yeah, so if you can, that's my favorite whiskey. I wanted to ask you what your favorite whiskey was. But as always, we're trying to figure out more about you, right? Obviously, something that I actually found out about you is you don't just own a gaming channel.
No,
You
I mean
have
it's
an
the only one that's like active, but I have another one that I post to occasionally.
and what is that?
It's a car channel.
Vroom, vroom. That's what I know. So tell us about it. Tell us like why car channel, what type of cars? Like what are you like a Fast and Furious car type? Are you like a Gone in 60 Seconds car type? I don't know why I'm talking about stealing cars and stuff, but that it's came to my mind. Italian Job.
Uh, yeah. So that I don't even know uh like how I got into cars to begin with. Um my first car, well, as a kid, I had Matchbox cars and there was always one that I had that was my favorite. And I don't remember what that is now, but I've heard stories. My mom told me, my dad told me. Um, and my first car after the first car that I bought, because I was driving around my dad's, it's like a 2000 Ford F-150 for a couple months while I was saving up money And I bought my first car, which was actually my friend's car at the time that he was selling, so he could buy a Toyota Tundra. He sold me his 2000 Honda Accord. And
What
that
type of friend
thing,
is this? Going from an Accord to a Tundra? Kinda
he's one of them redneck hillbilly types.
like, what kind of identity crisis are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. But
I'm joking. I'm joking.
that Honda Accord, and everybody always say like, "Oh, Honda is reliable." No, not this one. I don't know. This was like a Hyundai in disguise or something because it always had a problem, and I hated that thing. So I got away from that thing as quick as possible, and my next car was a 2007 Nissan 350Z, and I guess that is kind of what got me into like the sportier cars. And so I modded that one. I had it tuned, put an intake, put an exhaust on it, and then I was like, I need more. Like this, it's fast-ish for what it is, but I want more. So then I bought a sports car from a brand that most people are going to scoff at, Kia. It was the Kia Stinger,
Yeah.
and it's I think it's a 3.3 liter V6, but it was a twin turbo. And I had at the time, it was like one of the fastest Kia Stingers, which isn't really saying much because there's like, I don't know, 100 people that are out here modding Kia Stingers. But I had one of the fastest ones on the East Coast. Um, and then I sold it back to a Kia dealership that had no idea what they were buying. They didn't test drive it. They didn't look it over. I mean, this thing was like ridiculous. It comes from the factory. It's like, a solid 360 horsepower or whatever. Went back to them at like 500 plus horsepower and torque. So they had no clue. And then I got the car that I have now, which is a 2016 Corvette Z06, which is the base of that channel. And the only reason that channel got started is because my local Chevy dealer is scummier than that guy Kainuru we talked about. And they took my car out for a joyride multiple times. The technician picked up his wife or girlfriend or whoever it was,
Some
almost lost
random
control
chick.
of the car. Yeah, whoever. Almost lost control of the car on a back road. Um, and yeah, so I made a video. That video blew up, probably has almost as many views as my entire gaming channel combined. Um, and it got local news attention, and there was a whole bunch of articles written about it on like Car and Driver and like all the reputable uh, car websites that you could think of. And never once did they apologize for any wrongdoing or take ownership. All they did was refund me the $80 deductible that I paid them for my warranty that covered the repair that it was there for in the first place. And they stole my damn sunglasses. Cherry on top.
It's all right. So there's so much to unpack here. So there's tons to unpack in chat, and I see his sour blow, Cherry Man, Vance Bates. Welcome, welcome. Vance Bates went to Olive Garden. Talk about a place I did not know still existed. I know I am saying some very hot takes right now, but I promise I didn't realize that Olive Garden was a thing still. I know I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm sorry. I made fun of the mountain people. Now I'm making fun of Olive Garden. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So chat is saying it's either Ford or nothing. You believe that?
Well, I like I said, I drove my dad's Ford F-150,
Ford F-150 till he didn't.
and it, I mean, it got me from point A to point B. It was sucking up all the gas in between, but hey, can't turn my back on a Corvette though. It's
Oh,
like Mustangs are nice. Sorry, but I can't do it.
so you're like besides the Kia, because like that, like I guess you were like in this what did they call those? Like, it's Kia's a Korean car, right? Kia's Korean
Yeah.
International Auto, like that's what it stands for.
Yep.
Um, so you did that. You got it like super and I heard the subtle flex. If y'all did not hear the subtle flex, there was a young man who took extreme pride in saying his Kia Stinger was one of the fastest on the East Coast. Did y'all not hear that? Like, which I could tell you're super proud of that.
I
Did
was
you?
at the time because people like I would go to car meets and for a while people didn't really know. They were just like, "Oh, it's a Kia." It's a like I actually changed my license plate eventually to just a Kia. That was my plate. Um
That was
and
him.
they had no
That is
idea.
not that is the Nightfall that we know today. Started as what was it?
Just the Kia.
Just a Kia.
Yeah.
Fastest in the East Coast.
Yeah, so they would have like their BMWs and stuff at the car meet. Um and they would always laugh when I was like, "You trying to run?" And they were like, "What you got?" I was like, "Just the Kia over there." And they were always it was the reaction was always the same, like, "Man, no, I'll blow the doors off that thing." Like, you could try. I'd like to see you try, actually. And yeah. So it only took a couple months before anytime I would ask anybody and I'd be like, the Kia over there, their attitude changed real quick to nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh my goodness. I could tell. So you did the Kia.
Yep.
You lived with that. And then you went to and then you got this thing.
Yeah, I only switched to it because it sounded like one of the turbos was starting to go bad on the Kia, and that sounded expensive. So I was like, I'm just gonna give it back to the Kia dealership and take the money and put it into something that I really want. And I always said I don't want to or don't plan on living past 50 just because like I've seen my parents live past 50 and it just looks like a horrible, horrible time. So I'm like, just put me out of my misery if I ever get to that point. I
What?
was like, yeah, I was like 29 ish.
We're gonna hold him to this when you get to your 40s, we're gonna let you know what you said. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna put
I,
you there.
yeah. So I was like 28 or 29 at the time. So I just considered it my midlife crisis. And I was like, what better car to get for a midlife crisis than a Corvette?
That is so the Corvette. So you have a Corvette. This is actually really interesting because I feel like I am getting tons of testosterone is coming out of chat and coming out of you, Nightfall. Like you all are talking turbos and horsepower and torque and in
America.
America, fast cars and whiskey. I'm pretty sure there's a country song in there somewhere, but this is what's going on. And so I'm not gonna lie to you about so tell me, so you got the Corvette because you're a midlife crisis. You didn't want you're like, screw the high school fast kid car. I don't want a Mustang. You
Yeah.
know, you're like, I don't want a Camaro. Sorry, simpleton. He said, F your Camaro. He said, I am going for a Corvette, not just any Corvette, right? No, no. He's going for the car that looks like it could be an F-10. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Nightfall?
I don't know. I only like for the car people in the chat, I only bought the Z06 because I couldn't afford the ZR1 at the time. I, I don't regret it, but the ZR1 is nice. It's like the same thing, but next step up.
No, it's a Corvette. You know, the thing I've found about cars is like you have a Corvette. You said Z06, and I'm going to look up this ZR1 thing. I'm not a car person. What's the difference?
Between the Z06 and ZR1,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like 105 horsepower.
But it still goes
100,
fast, right?
Yeah, but this one goes faster, and it's got big
Why?
wing. It's got
What?
a big wing.
Chat, tell me why. Why is it always about fat like the car? How much horsepower does your Corvette have?
Now we're stock.
What are we even talking about? What are we talking about?
Stock, it has 650, but I would venture to say it's closer to like 720 now.
700 and where are you going with 720 horsepower?
Oh, that's the best part. Nowhere. I work from home. I don't I don't go anywhere.
What this is the equivalent of people who literally talk to me about like I'm getting a 5090 GPU. And I'm like, okay, cool. What are you gonna play? Cyberpunk or whatever? And they're like, no, solitaire. Like, what are you like? Why?
It's fun to have. Just like, I don't know, knowing that it can go fast, I guess,
I am
whenever I
learning
want it
so
to.
much about like the male psyche right now. Like you just
Um,
want it. It's like it's fast, like 720 horsepower. Like how fast does this other ZR1 go?
that one, I want to say it's like 755 horsepower. I don't know their top speeds, um, but it's insane. Too
Hey, so
fast.
your
It's not
car does
fast.
not have 9,000 horsepower. I don't even think that's possible. 9,000 horsepower? I don't know. Am I off?
Yeah, it doesn't sound right.
9,000? He
No.
has a Subaru. He has a, and it's like a Ninja or
Oh yeah,
Dragon Ball
definitely
Z.
not.
What's that? Oh, whoa,
It's
whoa, whoa!
definitely not.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I can see we have some uh some tension, some tension. So are so what what do you have? Like, here's my question: like, if you're going to go that much for like a sports car, right? Why
Mhm.
not? Why not like an exotic sports car?
Well, I mean, I guess that's the second half of it is just the looks. Like, I don't, I don't, I don't like the exotic looking cars. Like, they just look weird to me. Like a McLaren or, I mean, Porsches are nice, but I just feel like it's just, eh, I don't know. Chevy is just American made, and there's just something about the body style of this one. And then the color that I got is white on the outside with red interior, and it's just it's like it's the car. I spent months looking for that exact specification on that car.
No, well, I can tell you take a lot of pride in it. I think that's what I like to hear. Like, I can definitely hear like your the pride is the best way I can explain it. And it seems like there's like a console war in cars. That's what I'm
Yeah,
hearing.
it's
That's
like
what I'm
Xbox,
hearing.
PlayStation, Ford, Chevy, same thing. But I think I take more pride in the fact that like when you think Corvette, you think the person who owns it is like 50 plus, wearing jean shorts and their socks pulled up to their knees, right? And like I don't know how many people understand the Corvette world, but there are people who they don't drive it. It's a garage queen. It just sits in a garage under a car cover in a bubble, basically. They don't, God forbid, they drive it in the rain. You know, it's going to melt. So I, like I said, I work from home, but it's my only car. I daily drive it. Anywhere I go, it goes. So I don't baby it. Like cars are meant to be driven, similar to bourbon whiskey is meant to be drank, not like collected. No shade at you. I'm just saying, like, there are people,
He threw shade on
there,
shade, y'all. He just did. He just did. I was
there are people when I got into the whole like bourbon thing. It's at like the peak apparently, where you can't find anything. Like, and everything you do find is marked up beyond belief. Like anything Buffalo Trace product, especially here in North Carolina, you can't find it. Can't find it.
So that's that. There you go. American. It deserves to be an American race car in America. I like it. 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 Like if Vet's still here, he would agree with me totally. And women are what? No, no, cowboy. We're not doing. I'm not gonna lie. When you said garage queen, I was like, what the heck? And then I realized you were talking probably about a car that stays in the garage.
Yeah. Yep.
And not like there's a lot of different types of queens. And I was like, I've never heard of the garage queen, but I got it now. I got the reference. And no, cowboy, that's not what we're going to be doing tonight or right now. That's not true. Um, but I am curious, how would you end that statement, cowboy? Just curious. He totally did. He totally did. For anybody who didn't check it, the ISO, he totally did. What I will say though is if y'all don't, if y'all want to understand it, all I'm gonna say is type in Crown Royal cast number 16, 750 milliliter bottle into Google. Tell me what comes up. Humor
Do
me.
you drink those?
Humor me. What?
The Crown Royal. Like, you have a bunch of them. Do you just like drink them every so often?
I do open one every so often to celebrate something. Yeah.
See, so you're drinking them.
I do drink. I mean, it was my favorite one, and they discontinued it.
Yeah, see, that's different. I'm talking about people who they have an event, like a big allocated event. They go to it. They bring them, their wife, and anybody that they know, their kid who's over 21 who can buy a bottle because it's limited to one bottle per customer. And they buy all the bottles. They take them home, and then they collect them. And either it just sits on their shelf and they don't ever drink it, or the bottle that they paid $79.95 for, they sell it for $400. That's what I don't like about the bourbon community.
Bourbon. No, I mean it's a thing. It's a peak. It goes in valleys, ups and downs, ups and downs.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think we're right at a point where it's kind of like so there is a car. I don't know a lot about cars, but there's one car company I really like, and I do like Porsches. And
So nice.
yeah, I just like how they're iconic. And this is Lola. If y'all cannot see, this is Lola. She's never come on camera here, but she's trying to tell me something. She's actually really smart. She's a border collie. She's really smart, and she's telling me something. Um, but so yeah. I don't know a lot about cars per se, but I do know I like Porsches. Is that a
Okay.
cat? No, that's not a cat ISO. What are you talking about? That's a dog. And how did I set you up for failure? But I do want to get to Call of Duty. I wanted to
Oh,
get to Nightfall, Call of Duty. Why X Defiant? Why not Call of Duty? What? Because if you watched your channel, there is, I feel like, some type of aggression towards Call of Duty.
oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, talk to it.
Uh,
I mean, because we got a lot of people who played Call of Duty, a lot of former COD players here. Why no COD?
so it again, half of it's because I feel like it took a lot of players from Halo. That's to start. Um, the other half of it, the other half of it is, sure, they were good games. You know, Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2. But over the last, I don't know, 7 years or so, it just seems like the cool thing for everybody to do is hate on it. And I've been hating on it since day one. So, don't call me a bandwagon hater, but it started because people started complaining about their skill based matchmaking. And it was just, it's a divisive topic. It still is because X Defiant has no skill based matchmaking.
So So as someone obviously who's like an expert at first person shooters and well steeped in this, humor me and tell me what skill based matchmaking is. Like I
So
hear the like I get
yeah.
the concept in theory, but I don't get the concept in reality.
Um,
Does it?
so I think of it, it's kind of like chess. Um,
Uh-oh, you know I love chess.
everybody, yeah, everybody who plays chess like professionally or at some level, even some of the websites give you a skill rating. Um, the main thing is that that's not hidden from the players. Like you know what your skill rating is, and skill based matchmaking in a video game is similar to that. You know, an 1800 player in chess would play, an 1850 player in chess. Similar skill rating. And that's kind of how it works in Call of Duty. The issue with Call of Duty is it's not just skill based matchmaking. It's something called there's different names for it. It's like EOMM, which is like experience optimized matchmaking, which contains skill based matchmaking. So experience optimized matchmaking is uh it's just it's a formula that they have that nobody else knows what it is, but it takes into way more than just your skill. Your kill death ratio, your win loss ratio, your rank. That should really be the end of what your skill rating is. Um, they take a lot of factors into, you know, when do you quit the game? When do you close out of the game? When do you play the game? How much stuff do you buy? And their whole goal behind EOMM is to get the player to play longer so they spend more money. That's the whole premise behind it. And they lied to players about it for years and said that wasn't what was happening. It was just skill-based matchmaking. And now recently, as of the last year, it's come out and people have caught on, and uh, people like Blame Truth have, exposed them with the data. The
Your
data.
boy Blame Truth, your boy,
Yes.
because y'all are
Yeah, my
like
best
he
best
referenced you. By
right.
the way, I played Blame Truth in a match. Do you know that?
Did you? I've yet to run into him
I ran
in a
into
game.
Blame Truth in a match, and Ambi was there with me. So if Ambi's in chat, can prove this. Um, I think that was the worst whooping I've ever taken in XDefiant, and I've taken a lot, by the way. But Blame
Yeah.
Truth laid into us. I just had to say that. And so now I watch his videos hoping that he'll show that clip so I can be like, "That's me." But I did get him once.
Yeah.
Like, but that was
That's all that
it.
counts.
That's all that counts. And I wanted to clip that and just be like, make a video like me taking out the big time streamers, but he hasn't posted it and I wasn't recording. So, but go ahead. Go ahead. Skill based.
Yeah. So that's just COD and Activision in a nutshell. They're a shady company, and I don't like that. Like how I understand the business model, but to lie to your players like that, and now everybody's got PTSD because they think that what they've been playing for the last 5 or 6 years was skill-based matchmaking, and they're like, "Oh, skill-based matchmaking, it's terrible, it's bad, no, ew, yucky, cooties." But it's not. Like every game has had skill-based matchmaking. Halo has skill-based matchmaking. Years of War had skill-based matchmaking. Like any game that you can think of has some form of skill-based matchmaking, whether it's in their ranked mode or their casual mode, whatever it is. And now X Defiant comes out and they say, we don't have skill-based matchmaking. And now a lot of people are finding out that they're not as good as they thought they were because skill-based matchmaking isn't in the game, and moreover, COD's EOMM is no longer protecting the players that are not good. And there's nothing wrong with not being good, but like COD has coddled them for years, so now they think of it a different way.
But so all right, so ISO Motion Gaming just said skill-based matchmaking is trash, but you just said skill-based matchmaking done right if it's another, so
Yeah.
I play chess. It's actually funny. You actually, my chess rating, this is way back when. I don't think I'm up there anymore. My chess rating was at 1840 in
Okay,
chess.
so I was almost spot on.
Yeah, yeah, I was up there. I'm not up, like, obviously, I'm not, like, world mass, like, 2000 plus,
Yeah.
but back, like, early 20s, like, that was probably my peak, like, 1840. Now it'd
Yeah.
be, I don't know. Not there. Not there, y'all.
Right.
But, so but you just said skill-based matchmaking, there is a place, but what COD did was, what did we call it? EOMM, experience
Yeah.
optimized matchmaking.
Mhm.
So, wouldn't skill-based matchmaking done right be good?
Theoretically, yeah, and it's like in its purest form, and that's typically what ranked is in most games. Um, I won't use X Defiant as an example because their ranked game mode has some problems right now, and I don't necessarily agree with the ranges that people can play with one another. But in most games, if you have, say, bronze is the lowest, and you have silver, gold, platinum, diamond, champion, like Siege has, you don't have diamond or champion players playing against silver players in a ranked game because there's skill based matchmaking. They don't call it skill based matchmaking, just like Mark Rubin, the executive producer of X Defiant, doesn't call their ranked game mode skill based matchmaking. They just match you up against players of similar skill level, which is skill based matchmaking. So it's not a bad thing. And that's why I think COD has just kind of ruined a lot of people into thinking this is what skill based matchmaking is. And now people think it's bad because what it was in their form is EOMM. It is bad. It's terrible. It shouldn't be a thing.
And you said something really, so skill-based matchmaking, that's Call of Duty, and I deliberately took us this route, right? Talking about your journey, wanting to get to know you a little bit more. Talk about how you're the X Defiant Boogie man. Skill-based matchmaking. You actually talked about someone, one Mark Rubin, right? And
Mhm.
so I do want to ask you about something because this has actually come up in chat a few times, and there's some people who've talked about it, but I did want to bring up just a little clip here. Not a clip, but so this person,
Mhm. Yep.
right? X Defiant is already I always struggle with that word. Because I don't know what it means when I read this. Is already dead, right? You made a video about this,
Yep.
I think, right?
Mhm.
Then we come back and we have a different thing from from the man known as Mark Rubin, right? So
Yep.
for y'all who did not know, we just saw a tweet from one something Weber. I just know his name is something is Weber at the end. And Mark Rubin, if you did not know, Mark Rubin is the studio head of the studio that makes X Defiant, right? So this is what he's saying. He's saying it to be crystal clear, the game is not dead, right? And then just so we get, and I want to get your opinion on this. That's why I asked. And then we get from the journalists, the good old journalists. Uh X Defiance Mark Rubin, nice game is in danger of down, but other sources dispute his claim. What do you think about all this? What do you think about like game is dead, game is not dead? Why do you think this is happening? Like obviously Blame Truth did a video of this. We have another X Defiant uh content creator extraordinaire and jack of all trades who's in chat right now, who's done some commentary on this. But what do you take, like how do when you like where do you stand on this? Like honest opinion.
It's confusing because I try to look at it unbiased. Like obviously I like the game and like I'm only relevant because of the game. Like people didn't know me before X Defiant came out. Like, sure the people I slapped on Rainbow Six Siege were in my DMs talking trash, but people didn't know who Nytefalll was 6 months ago. So it's hard for me to kind of separate myself from X Defiant as a game that I like versus X Defiant as a game from a content creator standpoint. So trying my best to do that. Like I said, it's confusing because I feel like he has to say those things. Like he has to deny it, right? Because if he just comes out and says, like, obviously he would never do this, but if he just came out and said, "Yep, the game's dying," right? That'd be it. People would uninstall the game. They'd stop playing. There'd be no point. Nobody would buy anything. That's for sure. If you knew the game was dying in, you know, what, 6 months from now, why would you spend money on the game? So I feel like from that side of it, he has to say it. But the alternative is not addressing it at all, which is just going to do more harm than good. But yeah, I don't think he's ever, I don't know, like straight up lied to anybody. Like it seems like he's always been forthcoming and truthful. And a lot of the reasons, and yeah, I'll put my tinfoil hat on, that I think these articles are coming out is because of Black Ops 6. And a lot of people say, oh, Call of Duty is so big, they don't need to sabotage X Defiant to be successful. And you're probably right. They don't. But it just seems very suspicious, the timing of these articles that come out. And I think that's what Blame Truth talked about in his video. Yeah, was it yesterday that he put it out? Where the other article had come out the day before the beta launched. And now this article comes out 10 days before the game launches. The timing just seems weird.
Yeah. So if for y'all, and I see a lot of X Defiant people here, so you're already kind of aware of it. Some people tangentially touching X Defiant. I know my original Shades of Purple crew is just like, what the heck, purple? But yo, it's the game. It's actually the game I've played the most this year. I'm closing in on 400 hours, and that's starting June 1st. So I did not have any of the pre time in the game. This is like starting June 1st to today. And that's also taking into account Black Myth Wukong and Diablo 4 in there that I played. But I have 400 hours and almost 400. And so I do want to kind of say, like, when I see these articles, and I could understand, is it confusing or is it not confusing? Like a little bit. And to me, I've never been confused about X Defiant. Like, right. I think, like, Blame Truth, you've kind of hinted at this. A few others have hinted at this. I was just watching someone else's channel. I don't know who they are. But they are also hinting at the potentially that there is a effort to sabotage X Defiant by saying essentially X Defiant's dying. Woe is X Defiant. Oh, here's Black Ops 6, right? The Call of Duty game that's about to come out, right?
Yeah.
And I think the only thing I will push back is, like, Black Ops 6 is big, right? It's a big IP. I mean, Call of Duty is a big IP. And I feel like just about every week there's an article negative about X Defiant. Right? Whether or not it's like about netcode issues, whether it's about player count issues, whether it's about features missing, whether it's about lack of content. I mean, there's a ton of, like, criticism to go around.
Yeah.
Workplace harassment claims, which are all, like, could all be legit, right? And so the only thing I would say is, like, yeah, like, if every week something is coming out negative, well, it's obviously going to coincide with a positive,
Yeah. That's fair.
Black Ops 6 commentary. So that's the only thing. That's the only thing I think. The thing that upsets me the most is this article, right? And let me pull this back up and I'll explain why. This upsets me the most. And the reason why it upsets me the most, and you mentioned it right, King Jackal, that this gamer X. I don't even know how to pronounce this word. Um, but they'll point to a source from Tom Henderson, right? Game Insider Tom Henderson,
Hmm.
in which Tom Henderson says he has inside sources. And what I don't mind people telling me about inside sources. I really don't. Like, cool, you have them. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. What I do have an issue is this double-sided journalism. Meaning, oh, we have Mark Rubin saying the game is not dying. And then you give me an insider source who I don't care who it is, but unless it's like literally the Guillemot family, he's
Yeah.
Guillemot, right? Unless it's that dude and he's giving you the inside information, which clearly he's not, because then you didn't even have the inside information about the Tencent Ubisoft situation. Then who
Right.
are you talking about? What person in the studio would have this information? But you present it as if it's like equal. That's the problem I have.
Yeah, and I think what plays into it is like there's such an easy target right now because of what's happening with Ubisoft, not necessarily X Defiant. Like Ubisoft is going through it right now. Like they've had terrible game release after terrible game release. They botched Star Wars again for like the second or third time. So they're just an easy target. And X Defiant is not they're not free from that either. Like you said, they have issues. The hit reg, the net code. But I think a lot of that is overplayed because I'm not saying because I don't have those issues that they don't exist. Because I've made several videos about issues that I've had that other people claim to have no idea what I'm talking about, and I'm just coping that I'm bad at the game. And but it's like when somebody says there's an issue, like a video I did a while ago about, oh, it takes me 12 minutes to find a game. Okay, well, here's a video of me testing every single game mode and seeing how long it takes to find a game on a Tuesday morning at like 10 a.m. That's not peak X Defiant hours, right? Who's playing X Defiant on a Tuesday at 10 a.m.? Nobody. Yeah, me and you, yeah, but not a whole lot of people.
Tuesday, 10 a.m. By the way, y'all. High is KD.
So yeah, if I'm finding games in every single game mode in under 2 minutes in that time period, I fail to understand how people are not finding games after 12 minutes. And all I ask them to do is just tag me in a clip on Twitter. Message my Discord DMs are open. Message me. Maybe I can help you. Maybe you have a setting that's turned off that you don't need off. But they never do. They always just say, "Oh, you're discrediting my experience." Like, yeah, I did. Show me proof that I'm wrong. And I don't get it.
I feel
And
like
it's annoying.
they're saying like you're discrediting my identity and experience. It sounds like this weird, like morphed diversity conversation.
I don't know what they're trying to say, but
I
if
like
if
go ahead.
anybody can show me matchmaking trying to find a game mode and you have crossplay on and IBMM either on or off, I mean, it doesn't matter at that point. All you have to do is have crossplay on, and you're trying to find a game, any day of the week, anytime, and it's taking you 12 minutes to find a game. Are you connected to the internet? Like, hello?
Could be an issue. No, I agree. Like I said, I mean, I was excited to do this because there's another person who's coming. Cowboy, if y'all did not see, and your mama knows, is AKA Cowboy. He has a channel, and on that channel, they were talking about X Defiant is dying. And I always am like, how are people making like I don't get it. Like if dying is like to your point, I can find games pretty quickly. There's only been like one time I haven't been able to find a game really quickly, and it was like a really random time of night, and I was playing a game mode that in my opinion, was really unpopular. And it wasn't that we couldn't get people in, it's just that we kept getting stacks leaving. And
Yeah.
eventually, like, the game it took, like, a minute versus, like, 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Uh, and so yeah, and they could be talking ranked. I totally yeah, ranked happens. I hear that.
Oh, yeah, ranked is a whole different experience. I can't find a game in ranked, and I'm not even like top rank. Like I'm mid tier. It takes me forever to find a game.
Yeah,
So I mean, ranked aside,
I mean, I could see rank being an issue, but to me, like and I think Jack of all trades and I have, like in his videos, I always, like, leave these super lengthy comments in there. I forget how long I'm that person. I will leave, like, a 300-word response. That was FCAT that yeah, it was FCAT, cowboy. It was FCAT. And, but as you can see, there's tons of X-Defiant people here, in the chat saying that they're not having that experience. And I think to your point, Ubisoft has had a very tough go, but I think that's the entire gaming industry, right? Like the entire gaming industry has had a rough go. I think it's easy to be like, oh, Ubisoft's doing bad, therefore it's because of XYZ reason. And don't get me wrong, Ubisoft probably needs to, unfortunately, uh, just like the rest of the industry, will unfortunately probably lay off people. But that's the entire industry is laying
yeah,
off people. You know, that's not a Ubisoft issue. Who do we just heard Bandai Namco talk about like band who's
yeah, they
Bandai?
canceled the Nintendo game, right?
I yeah, I still don't understand that. Like, wouldn't Nintendo be the one who cancels the Nintendo? I don't understand how that works.
I don't know.
I was like, wouldn't Nintendo be the one that cancels the Nintendo game? But I
Yeah.
digress. But yeah, no, I think it's the entire industry. But the thing that I always look about with X Defiant is when you it's a free to play game and when you have millions of people, that's what they said. Now that's the number I always out of everything Ubisoft's told us about X Defiant, there is one number I I kind of like do a like a weird like really? And that is the number that they said have downloaded the game. They have said 11 million people and I'm that's a
Oh
lot.
yeah.
11? Like like 1 million?
I
That's
wonder if that counts people who have uninstalled it and re-downloaded.
I even then, I would be like, "You're telling me 11 million people downloaded Xdef." I that's the number where I'm like, I don't know. But even if it is 11 million people, even if it's 5 million people, that in itself is worth a ton of money, and a company is not gonna, like, just leave that. Like, that's tons
No,
of potential. They're not just going to leave that. Like, I'm trying to think, I don't even think some of the biggest games coming out from some of the largest publishers have reached a million, 11 million players.
no, not
Like,
even
in
close.
not even close. Like, I'm thinking like the largest games this year, and there's like only one. Well, there's like obviously Power World reached it. Black Myth Wukong's reached it. Like some of these games, but I'm talking those are like smash hits. But we
Yeah.
think of X Defiant as it's dying, even though I just don't see the evidence. So maybe it is a conspiracy. Maybe it's just that we like to hate on X Defiant. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I
I
remember the
don't
first article I saw was about the Ubisoft stock price had dropped like 50 some percent. Like it was some like it dropped from $100 to 50. It dropped from $6 to $3. Like 50% is a big number, but when it drops from 6 to 3, I feel like that's why they use 50% instead of, Ubisoft stock down to this. And I mean, when you look at Ubisoft at their peak, I think their highest stock when I looked at it was like 20 some dollars. Like that versus someone like Activision who's over 100, I think.
well, yeah. I think the thing with Ubisoft here's the thing. Like I've lost faith in game journalism, except for like very few, when it comes to financials and gaming. Ubisoft's a very interesting company. I just wanna make sure I quote the right number. It was at 20 at once, but that's the height of the pandemic, and then it kinda levels off. But even then, it's like Ubisoft is roughly worth $10 billion. That's how much it's
Yeah.
worth. It has and so anytime and I think I talked to Jack Vald. I wrote this on his one of his videos because Jack is all about doom and gloom. You ever watch it? If you ever watch his videos, he's like, and it's gonna die, and I'm gonna write this ship out. You know, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I hang out in his streams a lot.
Just messing with you, Jack, if you're still there. But the thing about it is like, unless you're telling me about how much debt they have and what debt payment is coming up that they can't pay, I I, I don't know. I don't want to. I think there's just a lot of random people who don't understand financial systems and markets and haven't been following Ubisoft for a while. Because Ubisoft is basically like a family-run company under
Yeah.
the the veil of a publicly traded company, but the CEO is Guillermo. And then go look at who the board is made up of. And if it doesn't sound a lot like his brothers and cousins, then I don't know what does. So, good luck, like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I have crossplay on and matchmaking off on Xbox. I get a game in 1 second. I don't get it that quick, but that's fast. But yeah, so I think that's I know we have a lot of the XDefiant community here. I know there's some people who are also curious about it, but that was my thing. Like, where did you stand as someone whose channel really came up through XDefiant? And, like, just how did you feel about it? Like, what are those feelings as like, because let's be very honest, um, you're one of the voices for the community. And as XDefiant grows, so will you, right?
Yeah.
And if X Defiant dies, I don't know if you die, but that hurts the channel, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so as a content creator, how do you balance that?
Um, well, I content creation isn't something that I do full time. So it's not like the end all be all. Like if X Defiant dies, like I'm scrambling trying to, find the next game that's going to pay my bills. I have a full time job. This is just kind of more of a hobby. Like, sure, I'd like it to become something that I could do full time so that I could put more effort into it. Um, so yeah, the rumors of that possibly essentially just stopping kind of sucks because it's almost like I got a preview of that because it was kind of shocking when I got those copyright strikes and YouTube was just like, we're not even going to check it. We're just going to delete your channel in 7 days. And I'm like, everything I just worked for the last 4 months, and you're just threatening to delete it because one guy said that I might have like so, and ultimately, you know, Ubisoft and their financial troubles. It doesn't really bother me because in the end, they have so many IPs that they could pull a Sony and just sell one of them or two of them if they need money, or if they get bought out. I don't think that spells the end for any of the games. I mean, if anything, it probably helps some of them because it's like I said, their IPs are so profitable. Maybe some of them have just been mismanaged. I don't know, but maybe somebody else could take it over and do a better job. With more funding because, like you said, Ubisoft is laying off a lot of people. A couple months ago, I saw they laid off X amount of employees in what was it, Ubisoft San Francisco, I think. Uh, so
No. Well, so my theory is I think Ubisoft will lay off a lot more people. But to be very clear, the reason I say that is because Ubisoft is They have nearly 20,000 employees across everything. Now, the unfortunate thing about that is, unlike other game companies, Ubisoft actually hires full time their artists, their storyteller, like all of these people that are normally contracted at other companies, Ubisoft actually hires. And that's why some of the the most iconic scores or stories uh, um are actually from an artsy standpoint, Ubisoft. Like when you think of artsy,
Yeah.
traditionally not, and so um, but with that, with 20,000 employees, to put that into perspective, um, Ubisoft makes roughly like $1 billion, $1 billion to $2 billion a year, which is a lot. Like that's a lot. Um, and they have 20,000 employees. Nintendo roughly makes like 10 to $15 billion a year, and they have 7,000 employees. And
Yeah.
so when you see that the economy, or to better ABK, ABK at its peak had like 15,000 employees, and they make way more money than Ubisoft, who had 20,000. So that's why I say eventually Ubisoft will have to get in line there. But I actually think X finds a bright spot for them. Like I think it's one of the weird times that a free to play first person shooter actually will survive. Like a new IP is going to break in this market. I just do. I don't know why.
You want to hear my wild theory?
I want to hear. Yes.
So, a lot of people first criticized X Defiant for the game engine that they were building it on. It wasn't meant for an FPS. It's called Snowdrop. And I think, and I read part of this somewhere and I've kind of just latched onto it. I think with Rainbow Six Siege approaching year 10 on an outdated engine, this was their test run to see if they could make Siege work on this engine for it to be vibrant like all the maps and make Rainbow Six Siege 2 on this engine. And the longer X Defiant goes on, the more things that start to click. The first faction they added was from what game? Rainbow Six Siege. To
Yes.
see how,
GSK.
yeah, to see how the clubhouse map would port over, to see how barbed wire would port over, to see how the ADS system, or as some people call it, the trophy system, would come over. And then now they're going to be introducing a smoke grenade, which seems harmless, but it could just be a smoke screen because smoke grenades are in Rainbow Six Siege.
They are.
And now I'm going to call it right now. One of the next gadgets or factions that they bring in is going to be somebody who can see through smoke, like some
We
of the operators can do in Siege.
well, we already know. We do know who the third season's faction is,
I mean,
right?
we know, but we don't like no. Supposed to be Assassin's Creed from what I'm hearing.
Yes, Assassin's Creed, exactly.
Yeah.
And doesn't Assassin's Creed don't they have isn't Eagle Vision? Can't you what is doesn't Assassin's Creed have something where you can see the outline of something?
I don't
Like
know.
you
I didn't really play Assassin's Creed, if I'm
what?
being
I
completely honest.
I like Assassin's Creed. That's why. My theory I mentioned on Twitter was that they may use the engine to create other PvE modes in third person. Ooh.
Yeah.
Player versus engine modes in third person. Tell us more, Jack. We'll may have to wait for his shades of purple. And then King Jack will know. I don't know. So you're calling it. So I know you were hooting and hollering that there was no Halloween mode, or no event happening for Halloween.
Yeah.
They gave you a Halloween mode. They hinted at it. They haven't given it to us yet.
Right.
And now from from everything, you're now hooting and hollering about smoke grenades.
Well, smoke grenades is supposed to be coming, they said, in the next patch, which is supposed to be on October 30th.
So October 30th. So you're gonna probably get a double whammy. You're gonna get a October 30th, you're gonna get Halloween mode probably the week starting before that, and smoke grenades.
Yeah.
So you gotta be feeling pretty good about X Defiant. No?
I mean, they're bringing all the stuff, like all the stuff that I want is coming over. Now, the Halloween event, I'm going to reserve judgment on because from what I've seen officially, and this is an article that Ubisoft put out on their blog, it's going to be a 3v3 game mode, but that's all we know. So if it's just like normal X Defiant, but it's 3v3, it's not really much of a Halloween game mode. It's just a game mode around Halloween time, right? I'm talking an actual Halloween game mode that is different from
Like
your normal
zombies.
X Defiant. Yeah, like zombies.
Like zombies. So
Or like Siege has Doctor's Curse.
or so okay. So they may, like, we'll see, right? I
Yeah, they might.
think so let's get fun, let's get what do you want? So obviously you want to see that. What what are your wild theories coming out about X Defiant? Where are we going?
For like what's coming next.
Yeah, what's coming next? Where do you see let's get really crazy right now. Where do you see X Defiant in a year? Let's get provocative. Where do you see it?
Yeah. Um, I probably see it as in a year from now, so that'll put them what at year 2, season 2. Um, I I don't think I'm gonna go like crazy wild theories. I think it's just gonna be, you know, kind of where it's at now, but more polished. Like obviously, it's gonna have new maps because they've devoted 3 new maps per season, new faction every season, new guns every season. Cool. I think it's gonna have more game modes. Um, I think it's gonna have. I still don't think the netcode is gonna be where people want it. I think it's gonna be much better. Like I don't think I'm gonna be dying 10 feet around a wall anymore, but I still think it's gonna have some issues. Um, it. I think a year from now is where X Defiant should have been at launch. That's what I think.
So I'm gonna get crazy.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna get crazy because I think so much. If you want to know, so here's my theory, right? Like, you're a chess player, right? Chess player. You play a lot of chess.
Sometimes.
One of the things in chess is if you want to know, you don't ever focus on one piece, right? You got to understand the entire board.
Right.
And we talked about some of the board, right? In this genre, there's definitely a very big piece on the board known as Call of Duty.
Yep.
I believe, regardless of the fact that I think Black Ops 6 will probably be a solid entry into the Call of Duty of recent time, I don't think it's going to perform well. So why do I bring that up? Reason I bring it up is because I feel like this is the first time Call of Duty is actually entering a time where there's multiple free to play games on console that are going to give it somewhat of a competition, right? This is the first year that it's going up against head to head with Valorant on console. I understand not the same community, but
Yeah.
there's some crossover.
Yep.
First time that it's going actually head to head against another game that's in Unreal Engine 5. Well, I guess none of the games are in Unreal Engine 5 that I'm mentioning, but a game that's in Unreal Engine 5 that also gets has its own dedicated community on console, that this game is now coming up into year 1, the finals. And you have X Defiant, right? Who I would say is actually pulling a lot of OG Call of Duty fans. I think Call of Duty, the main line game, has never seeing that type of competition. Am I saying they're going to beat Call of Duty? No. But what I am saying is, I don't think Call of Duty is going to perform well. I think that's going to generate a lot of negativity, right? Because gamers love to see things fail. I never quite understood this, but they do. And right around the time that they're going to do that, like I am playing this out. Like if y'all did not know, I am calling checkmate in 8 moves. This is what this looks like. Okay. This is like king, queen to the knight, pawn, F2 checkmate. That's what's going on. Okay. And in my and I think what's going to happen is right as that's starting to peak, that swirl of like people either A being burnt out of Call of Duty, no matter if they liked it or not, people just leaving the game. There's being this massive, massive, just like it's not going to be massive, but it's for Call of Duty. It's going to be massive, like this blowback. That's right when X Defiant's going to put the pedal to the metal. That's when they're going to kind of go bigger on the marketing budget. That's when we're going to start seeing it become more on the Pro Series. That's when we're going to start to see. I think they get the net code quicker or sooner rather than later, to a point that is reasonable. Right? All
Yeah.
these games have their own issues. And that brings us, that's basically 6 months from now. And then 6 months from then, which is a year from now, I actually think X Defiant has a relatively healthy player base. I think it's going to be something that we see pro players playing again. I think it's going to have a relatively we're going to see a positive slope as far as the player base. And we're going to be talking about how in a year from now, so in 2 years, how X Defiant will be seriously challenging some of these first person shooters. That's my bet. That's my 8 move checkmate. Maybe 9 moves if you do something different, but there's checkmate there. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I agree with the first like whole half of that, like the COD side. I don't think that Black Ops 6 is going to perform as well as they hope it's going to perform. I've actually just seen like how true these articles are. They're doubling down on this new movement system, so now people are going to be able to wall jump. And movement's nice in a game to a certain extent. Like once you start incorporating all of these extra things, you're going to lose I don't want to narrow it down to an age range, but you're going to lose a nice chunk of players that just don't want to deal with that kind of movement. Like they want it simple. You can't even jump in Siege. Like that's how basic Siege is. And that's why I think it maintains a certain player base. Like I don't hear a lot of people who play Siege also play Call of Duty. It's very rare that I hear somebody play both.
I
Maybe
mean,
I'm
it's a
just in the
tactical
wrong
shooter.
crowd.
No, I think that's the thing about the Siege community. They don't like. I think the Siege community, from what obviously you played it, from my year in the Siege community, what I saw was the Siege community takes pride in the fact that you just can't run out and run and gun. Like
Yeah.
you have to be smart and tactical in what you're like. There's some strategy to it. Like no matter
Yeah.
how good you are at gunfights, no matter how good you are at knowing a map, if you don't have a plan and the rest of your team is not aligned with that plan, you are going to lose.
I would say Siege is the FPS equivalent to chess, whereas COD is more checkers.
Ooh. Ooh.
Because in Siege, I have like a whole strategy on this one map, on the one bomb site. So you play the top floor, you barricade a door so
Which
that they
map?
don't go through the door. I think it's Cafe Dostoevsky.
Okay, okay.
Um, you play the top floor, and I don't know what you call the room, Christmas or whatever. It's the room with the Christmas tree in it. You barricade the door into the hallway, and you blow out the wall into the bathroom to where it's not. You don't walk through it. You vault over it, and you put a frost mat down so that they don't want to break the barricade to the door. because they make a lot of noise doing that. So instead, you create the pathway that you want them to take, and then they vault into the frost mat. And then somebody comes and picks them up. And then on that bathroom door exit into the hallway are Capcan traps or like IEDs mounted to the walls. And then you get two of them.
Not
It's
bad.
convoluted, I know.
No, no. I mean, I as someone who plays Siege, I have like totally here. I think there's tons of like you said. I think I was being exaggerating how bad I was at Siege, but I do know the math. Like when you're bad
Yeah.
at gunfights, like you become really good at
Oh yeah.
other things, right? And Siege is one of those games that as long as you can contribute to the team, like you're like some of the best players have KDs of like 1 in Siege, right?
Uh-huh.
Because there's so much they're so good at like
That's
intel.
me.
Yeah, like right, there's the people who can win like the gunfight and you bring them in, but then there's the other types who are like, no, I just like they know how to they understand in the what we would say in the army, they understand the battlefield. And so but checkers is Call of Duty, Siege is chess. What's X Defiant?
Chinese checkers. Just another another
Chinese checkers.
another version of checkers. I don't know. I mean, I, I
Chinese
look at
checkers.
I look at COD and X Defiant as very similar, as in like they're both arena shooter FPS games.
No, I think so. The reason why I think Call of in just Jesse USA, welcome. He's another person who plays a lot of first person shooters, actually. Um, See, I think like when I play Call, and I don't play Call of Duty often. I actually have only played. I think it's slow. I don't find it interesting. It's actually the reason like I don't really play shooters. And then I look at X Defiant and what brings me in there. And I think to me, there's a little bit more. Let me say it like this. As we get to like the pro level, as we start to get to like this idea of what's the meta, like what's there, like I don't think we've actually scratched we've not really dug deep into the strategy of X Defiant yet.
No, not even close.
Right.
They're
That's what I think.
um coming from a game like Siege, there's a lot of things that I want to do or like try to do, and it kind of comes out in like where I place the turrets in some of those videos. Like some people wouldn't even think to try to get to some of these places. Like
Yeah,
there's
you went somewhere in Daytona. I didn't even know you could go. And Daytona's like one of I think I'm like a 90% win rate on Daytona. And you placed the turret. I didn't even know you could go up there.
oh like zone E
Yeah, it's at the
at
end
the
of
end.
the race. You're
Yeah.
you're you're escorting or you're
Hmm.
attacking, and you went onto the second floor
Yeah.
that
Yep.
overlooks like the wind. I didn't even know you could go up there.
Yeah.
And
Um,
I play that map a lot because it's like one of my highest win rate maps.
yeah, I think one of the funnier ones is on Zoo. That first defender spawn, where sometimes after you capture, if you're playing zone control, or if you're playing escort, right at that first checkpoint, where somebody will sit up in that ledge and like snipe people as they come by. You know what I'm talking about?
So you're a defender?
Well, so you're the defenders would sit up there, like that's their first
It's like a
spawn.
blue thing. It's like a blue area. Like I'm trying to understand in zoo. Like
Yeah, they're like I'm trying to think. So if do you play a lot of escort
yeah, yeah.
or
Well, I play probably the most is what starts with a D. It's the one with the 3 zones.
oh domination?
I play a lot of domination. Y'all, look how much I know how to talk X Defiant. I play a lot of domination. Starts with a D. And then I would probably say escort's the second most I play.
Okay. So on Zoo, when you escort the package, right as it gets to that first checkpoint and it goes down that ramp,
Okay.
to the left is where the defenders spawn before you get to that checkpoint as an attacker. and the
Okay.
defenders will sit up in that window and snipe people as they come across the doorway. Well, they used to think that they were safe until the highwaymen came out. If you put a turret underneath, you are now high enough if you stand on top of the turret to jump and mantle up into there. And I made I think it was a short that I made, and I promise you, this kid shit his pants when he saw me jump up in there. He's like, "How did he just do that?" And it's just crazy the places that you can get to if you don't think of the turret as a turret. It's just a step stool.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
there's a
So you
lot of
use it as
techniques too.
that's the thing. Like that's where like when you play Siege and
Mhm.
you'll see like okay, your team does its loadout, right? You see who has what and so forth. And then you're like, okay, we have like some flankers, we have some like you have like different team, and then you may change your character based upon
Yeah,
what your team. I believe X Defiant has that potential. Like when you
yeah,
really start to get to like, especially like in a ranked where it's 4v4, right? And you start to get to this point where it's like, okay, we need someone who can counter this. We need someone who can take advantage that they don't have something on this. That's why I kind of lean towards Defiant being more like a siege because what really makes siege, in my opinion, is you have the different classes with the different you still have different abilities, right? You have some people have
yeah,
different that yes, you die once, but at the end of the day, like dying once, if it was just dying once, we would just take the character and some people do this, the one with the most health, the one with the most gear, like the one that could survive a gunfight the could go the longest in a gunfight. But in
yeah,
reality, the siege is really about, in my opinion, as the expert siege player I am, it's really about like how do you balance your team and work as a team? And yes, Xdefiant has this like get as many kills as you want, which by the way, I think we saw that you cheated recently. I do want to say that. Like if y'all did not see this, I do want to bring it up. This is Nightfall. Tell me that is not cheating.
yeah. I actually joked. Somebody said something. Either they commented on the video or they commented on the tweet that I made. They told me they reported me for cheating, and I told them that I had to make a Smurf immediately after this so I could report my main account. And then I hopped back on my main account and reported the Smurf for smurfing because it's
Like
clearly cheating.
Like, clearly, y'all, if y'all cannot see this, is this 109 kills?
Yeah, 109 and 43.
109 kills. I'm telling you. Like, that's ridiculous. For one, I'm just gonna say this. I think because you did that on stream, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, that's how we got the screenshot. GG's on that. 109. 109 kills. I think you could divide that number by 109, and that might be my average kill number. I think it's like 109
Yeah,
43. That's right, Amby. 109 and 43. Redonkulous.
I
Um,
think the record's like 182 kills.
who's this? Fiery?
I don't know
I,
who did it.
Fiery, I know Fiery. Like there was a time where he would go and just do arena and do his little like movement stuff, and he
That's
gets
where I
away.
did it. Arena on Occupy is like the best for high kill games.
109, y'all. 109. That's ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. But yeah, no, that's where that's why I'm saying like I think like it's a pattern of like what will come out, what we know, like, and that's why I had you answer the question earlier, which is like how many maps are on X Defiant? Or like how many maps feature XYZ on X Defiant? And in order to do that properly, you have to kind of understand all the maps in X Defiant, which when you count it, if you did not know, 19 maps. Still debate about 13 or 14 places that feature a food a restaurant, cafe, or bar. We're still kind of even my own trivia question. I'm like, oh crap, let me go check this out again. But 19 maps, and so when I look at 19 maps, I look at how many factions do we have?
6, I think.
6 factions?
Is it 6?
Is it?
You got me questioning.
Is it? How
There's
many factions do we have in y'all in X
3,
Defiant?
4, 5, 6, 7. I always forget
7s! There
Libertad.
we go. Always get it.
I forget
Couldn't get it.
Libertad. I can't help it.
Yep, 7 factions, um, 19 maps. How many game modes?
Oh God. 7 game modes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Come
9.
on, come on. Okay, let's do the easy ones, right? We know there's a zone control and we know there's an escort,
Escort. Yep.
right? We know then there's a bomb, there's a capture the
Yep.
flag,
Mm-hmm.
right?
You got
We know there's a domination, right? We know that there is what's the one where you run around and just shoot people like it's domination?
Occupy.
Occupy. We know there's one where you just shoot around and kill a lot of people, like 100 people. What's that
TDM.
one? TDM. We know, and then there's, did I already throw in? So what is that?
I don't know. I think there's 8, right?
8. And then potentially, if you wanted to consider like your shotgun stupid mode that we just got through with.
Oh yeah, the LTM modes.
Yeah. So 8 modes. So when we think about it in a year, 6 game modes. No, it's not, Van Spates. There's more than 6 game
No.
modes. No.
Escort zone control. Escort
Escort
zone
zone
control.
control.
Domination. Occupy.
Domination.
That's 4.
That's 4.
And you got capture the flag is 5. Bomb is 6. Hot shot is 7. TDM is 8.
Team deathmatch 8. Yeah. Where you pick up tags. And did you do hot shot? Yeah. So we got 8. We're sure it's 8. Everyone.
Pretty sure.
So the reason I asked this is because the game's been out for 4 months. We're talking
Almost 5.
almost 5. If we
Yeah.
Season 0, sure. Let's call it.
Yeah.
Catch it. Let's do it, right? In 12 months. All right. So basically at least 2.5 times what the game's already been out. We're going to have how many more maps? We're now talking in the 20s, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're now going to have how many different factions? Okay, how many did we say there are right now? I think we said what?
7.
7. So
Yep.
11, 10, 11, somewhere in this number.
Yep.
We're going to have maps, factions. How many different game modes can we do it now? Maybe another 3 or 4? Maybe something like
Well,
that.
they confirmed a new game mode and a new map type already for season 3 or 4. I forget which one it was.
Exactly. And what we're actually talking about is like season 6.
Yeah.
Right? So when you put all that together, what you have is actually a game that is going to continue to double down on what it does really well, is going to continue to test out things. And not all of these are going to be winners. Like, don't get me wrong. Not every map is going to be a winner. Not every class is going to be OP like firefighter. Can't stand firefighter. But I say
Yeah.
that specifically for someone. But yeah, they're not all going to be like, but when you think about all those possibilities, you're starting to get into, like, in my opinion, what makes siege, right? Or what makes something unique, which is when you now start to have all these different types of combinations playing together, bringing in different types of players, bringing in people who like different novelty type of stuff. That's why I make my prediction about X Defiant. It's because I think it's enough there right now that is really cool. But at the same time, I'm like, well, this is what they've done in 4 to 5 months with a smaller team. What are they going to do in 12 months with a larger team? And I
Yeah.
just don't see, if I know what Call of Duty is doing is potentially going to continue to piss off players, right? If you're pissed off with Call of Duty, you're gonna continue to be pissed off with Call of Duty. Like, I don't think they're doing anything to change that. If anything, they're gonna piss off more people with Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So, where do those people go? And that's like I said, it's 8 or 9 move checkmate, y'all. 8 or 9 moves. That's how my brain works. So, we'll see. You have smoke grenades. That's just like one like you realize how much smoke grenades can change a game like the strategy now with smoke grenades? How something that small can just change a map?
I can't think of a game mode that it doesn't affect drastically when you look at it from
Drastically.
like a strategic standpoint.
Yeah, like
Bomb
if you
especially.
yeah, if you're looking at now, if you are like now you're starting to get into things where you have to counter, right? Now you're looking at like once you start to develop, and this is game theory essentially, right? Like when you are now starting to say, you do this, we're going to do this. If we're playing a skill team with this, we're going to do this. Like I remember what 3, 4 months ago, we were talking about what spider bots, spider bots.
Oh yeah.
No one's talking about like, right? Because what they figured out, like, okay, look, spider bots ain't like, it's like the least of my concerns at the moment, you know? Like some people are still annoyed with them. But in the voice of a 10-year-old kid, that's a skill issue, right? Like,
I never understood the hate for the spider
I
bot.
never
They're
understood the
so
hate for spider bots either. I'm like, it's one person. Now, firebomb, there's nothing I can do to a firebomb.
yeah.
Nothing. And the fire stays on the ground for like a day. Like it's ridiculous. It's like a
I,
kamikaze, but the guy doesn't die. Can't stand
yeah, and I think one of the biggest issues that I've been talking about is this game lacks counters. Like DeadSec is a hard counter to just about everything. It can hack your Libertad container to heal. It can hack spider bots. It can hack the fire drone that the cleaners send at you. It can hack the phantom shield. Um,
it. And
realistically, the
multiple of
only
them.
yeah,
Multiple
mul-
of them.
and
I
now
don't
the turrets. You can
like
hijack the turrets.
it's ridiculous. Like, that's what I'm saying. So now when you start to add in multiple components, in Cowboy, that's not true. There's quite a bit of companies that are challenging Nike right now, but I get what you're saying. But like I said, it doesn't necessarily need to beat COD. It just needs its own following. And what I'm saying is the more there, and this is to Cowboy, not to you, Nightfall, but the more variability you add in there, the more you start to make it a game. Like, like it becomes more than just running and gunning. And I get it. Some people like to do that. Some people like to run KDs up. But in my opinion, what makes something fun is different for different people. But there is something out there to say, like, I think there is a community of people who enjoy the mechanic, like what Xafine is doing now. And I think as it just continues to push into this idea of like fun, but also thinking, but also just like addicting, I just don't understand how it doesn't grow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll catch on with more people. I think the missing link, and I'll be the first to admit, I didn't see it at first, is Steam. I was
Yes.
thinking putting the game on Steam, all the people who don't play it now because it's not on Steam are always saying things like, I don't play it because it's not on Steam and I don't want to have to download Ubisoft Connect and make a profile. But when it comes out on Steam, you still have to do that. You still have to have a Ubisoft account and you still have to download Ubisoft Connect, the same that you have to do with Rainbow Six Siege now. The part that I failed to see is that just having it on the Steam store is going to bring so many more eyes to the game.
100%. I mean, I, I think like there's a lot of mistakes Ubisoft made. Trying to do the thing with Epic. Like that's why I ultimately don't think an Epic store is going to matter because if the players aren't there, they're not there. Um, but a mobile store that is. But no, I totally agree. I think putting the game on Steam is going to at least double the player count
easily.
easily. It just will. I think another thing that isn't talked about enough is XDefiant. What platforms is it on right now?
It's only on PC, Xbox Series X and S, and PS5.
Okay, it's not on PS4.
Nope, not on PS4, and it's not on like Xbox One.
So, what I'm also thinking that may happen, we're gonna have to see. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know for sure. So this one I'm not going to say for sure. But another big thing that's happening in the gaming industry that actually takes place next year. A lot of people, obviously, Grand Theft Auto 6, right? Grand Theft Auto
Yep.
6. There's another big event that's happening that I don't think people quite see. I don't know if it's gonna, based upon what you just said, I don't know because it's kind of in between those two. But the Switch 2, I don't think people quite are understanding the technical leap that's gonna be, especially if it's better than a PS4 Pro, which we know from Bobby Kotick. He said it's more powerful than a PS4 Pro. Does that mean it's as powerful as the Series S? I don't know that. But I could also see just like how that, if that were to happen, that is another tailwind. I'm not going to say it is as much as Steam because we know Steam's for sure. But
Yeah.
again, more players coming into, like, you don't, if you start getting a few from PC, a few from PlayStation, a few from Xbox, a few from whatever cloud, you start creating this thing. And looking back at prior games that had a slow start, like, let's not pretend Fortnite was a hit initially. All right. Um, the game I'm kind of like looking at, I was almost certain was dead when it first came out, but it has a very loyal following, and that's Hunt Showdown. I don't know if you've ever played that one, but it's like,
I haven't played it. I've had a couple people tell me about it though.
yeah, but it has less than X Defiant. I look at these games and I look at where X Defiant is right now. And yeah, like I said, 9 move checkmate. 9 move checkmate.
I
That's
think the
my thing.
biggest part that people don't account for, especially all the people who are hating on X Defiant and they're like, oh, COD this, COD that, is that competition in the gaming industry, the players win because it makes both games better. And that's why games like Madden have just become trash and the same copy and paste game for the last 5 or 6 years is because who else is making an NFL football game? Nobody. So you can't compete with them. So there's no what's the word I'm looking for? They have no incentive to better their game if the players just keep spending. They're just raking in the dollars.
No, look. I've said it. I've said it. Prove me wrong, y'all. Prove me wrong. That's all I'm gonna say. Prove me wrong. But Nightfall, I could talk like the fine all day. But I know, like, I was like, oh my goodness, like, I'm seeing like it was. I got several people like, oh, we're going, and I saw it's like we've been streaming for 2.5 hours. Jeez. Um,
Wow.
but I could talk to you all day about this. But I do want to. Is there like, I asked you this beforehand, but I know we've talked about XDefiant. We talked about COD. We talked about cars. We talked about cheaters. We talked about whiskey. We
Yep,
talked about Zelda.
you did.
What have we not talked about?
Um,
And that's an open-ended question. I don't. It's not like
that's,
a trivia.
yeah, that's it. I think we pretty much
Trivia.
covered it all.
I think no. I think we. I mean, I want to say thank you for this. Just this talk. Thinking through things. Us kind of getting to know you. I know you're kind of an open book. You talk. You don't hide from anything. You're you're pretty open on your channel. So appreciate you like kind of digging deeper on a couple of these other things. And also for the Xifine community for coming over. I don't stream X Defiant, but I do play it. I do play X Defiant quite a bit, and, the reason I don't stream it is because I just think there's people who do it better, you know? Um, but you might see Purple Haze in your lobby one day, and that's me. Um, and so I just wanna say thank you for this. I mean, the floor is yours. Anything you wanna say before we close it down?
Just thanks for having me on here. It's like I said, it's always nice to actually talk to somebody about these things instead of just arguing about them. Like, oh no, you're wrong. It's gonna shut down. Like, no, it's nice to have a civil conversation, and I feel like that in today's, especially the gaming space, gets lost, and nobody actually ever has a chance to do that. So it was nice to have a civil conversation for once, instead of replying to some of the hate comments that I get.
No, I appreciate that. No, I think that's the thing. Like I said, I I enjoy it, and I think just talking and then just having so many people in chat, obviously, who also play it, and just really talking about this, um, just kind of like thinking through it, and obviously we're fans of it. We don't know what the future is, right? What it's like tomorrow they could be like X Defiant has officially died. That's what happened to the Stadia community. We were all super
That's what happened
excited.
to Concord.
Well, Concord didn't have the Concord, like, opened and closed.
Yeah,
That was different. It wasn't like there was another thing. Um, like, it wasn't like it had momentum. Like I said, I come from the state community, and we had a community, and then all of a sudden it did exactly what you said. They said it was closing down about 5 months before it actually closed down, and nobody went back on it. It was actually kind of a sad time. Um, but but like I said, I think X Defiant has a couple more things going for it.
yeah. I think it'll be all right.
But with that said, I've linked your channel if anybody wants to catch Nightfall, catch someone who really knows how to play X Defiant. Not me. I may stream eventually one day. Um, I've linked his channel down below, but tell them where they can find you when you stream, what you stream.
YouTube and Twitch. X Defiant. That's it. Sometimes
Nightfall
Zelda.
with 3 L's, 3 L's. Don't forget Nightfall with 3 L's. He's the only one. He's the only one.
3 L's.
2 L's, you might find someone else.
I don't know who
Uh,
you're gonna find.
you might find someone else. And for everybody else, I will be streaming again horror. That's what I do on Sundays. I will be streaming what am I playing? Until Dawn. Um, and I will let y'all know I've already killed 2 people. It happens in these types of games. I'll be streaming until dawn, and then next week I actually will not be streaming. Or I will not be doing my Shades of Purple episode because of I gotta go pick up my mom from the airport, so it really timed out really well with something else that happened. But yeah, so I won't be here next Thursday, but I'll make it up for y'all. Thinking about doing some cosplay for Halloween. I don't know. We'll see. So, but I just want to say thank you, Nightfall, and thank you, chat, and thank you everybody who donated. I think Easy Red, Ambi, Cowboy. Thank you all so much. You did not have to do that, but it obviously goes right back to to the channel and what we do on the channel. So thank you all for coming by. But with that, Nightfall, any last words before I close this one down?
Nope. Just again, thanks for having me. And for those people who are for the ones that came to my channel for like the drama videos, um, that's not something I want to do all the time, but I'm not saying that it's not ever going to happen again.
Dun dun dun. We have to see. Oh my goodness. I can only imagine what's gonna come out. But with that, y'all, it's about that time where I say, I don't care where you game, how you game, why you game, what you game on, how long you've been gaming. As long as you're gaming, you're good with me. And as always, this is Purple Haze, and the proof is in the plane. All right, take care, y'all. And copyright strike that I'm going to have to dispute with this song. All right, later.